O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This is...
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby, yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayome is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayome, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayome can help.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. Time to rock and roll on a beautiful Tuesday. The Dolphins will get ready this week for the Raiders. We will get ready for our appearance at Walk-Ons on Sunday in Kendall. Prizes, giveaways. There we go. So join us. Walk-Ons in Kendall. Come on by, baby. Pre and post game show plus prizes all throughout. I'll MC throughout the afternoon and in between quarters and all that. We'll be giving away all kinds of prizes and Big O Show shirts. And we've got some new stuff coming, as Johnny sent me the new stuff yesterday. I can't wait. We'll have some merch coming your way, some Big O Show merch that we've been working on for a little while. So we'll get that going too. So we'll have that for you. Looking forward to that. Beautiful evening last night as the Denver Broncos did what they probably shouldn't do, right? Which is beat a better team in the Bills. But hey, man, whatever the implosion that's been going on with the Bills, we'll take it. So we'll talk about that. and we'll go over. We'll laugh about what happened last night to the Bills and the repercussions to it, because there are repercussions to it, and we'll talk about all of that. So we've got that. We've got the Dolphins. They sign a fast receiver to the practice squad. What's new? Experimenting with more speed. No big deal, really, until there's actually a big deal to talk about. But a couple things. We'll have a couple Dolphin notes. I mean, it is an off day this week. Tuesdays is the off day for NFL teams. Dolphins, by the way, it went up from 10 points to 12 points today. They are favored by 12 over the Raiders. The over and under is 48. Holy crap. It went from minus 470 to minus 525. That's nuts. Okay. And plus 360 for the Raiders to plus 750. That's insane. But anyway, so we got the Heat in Charlotte tonight. We got Panthers at the Sharks. Damn it, that is late. I'll be able to watch the back end of it because I'm going to go see Phoenix tonight with the wife. We're going to go out to Revolution Live, America's Backyard. I think they're doing the concert on America's Backyard, which is a little bit more open out. And I'll be there today. So if anybody's going to go see Phoenix, singing hallelujah, you come on out and say hi. All right. So love to meet you if you're going to go see Phoenix tonight. What else do we have? beating FIU and some other stuff also going on. Something very twisted story that I got to talk about too. Kind of, I don't know. It's just something that came out of left field that I did not expect, but we're going to talk about it because it is kind of it's got a local tie to it, and it's pretty damning accusation is what it is. So let's see what happens. Anyway, so we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Obviously, appreciate all of you out there. Remember, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. You can send your questions, comments, insults, even compliments. If you actually have a compliment for us, you can also send that on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Finn's Rule is number 1 on the chat board today. How about that? Switching it up. He goes, I really don't know what to say. I've never been first before, but Finn's Rule, the Dolphins are always number 1. So, you lead with Finn's Rule. So, number 1. So there you go, my brother. So congratulations to you. Cash the Jeweler is in. Angelo de Jesus is in. He says, Big O and Sean, you two are best in the biz. That's very nice of you. Very kind. I know Sean's the best. I'm just riding his coattails. Jamie Zoria out in San Jose reminds everybody to smash that like button. It is very important to smash that like button. Yes. Visit our sponsors and smash the like button. Very important. Steve Chapman is in. 2-game lead in the division is a beautiful thing. That it is, my friend. Silence Assassin is in. He says the Dolphins won the bye week. He is right. Andy Jackson says, Big O, I'm always here early to enjoy all the ads and promotions. I'll attempt to be less obtuse with my sarcasm. I think you were being honest. I don't know if you're being sarcastic yesterday. We just busted your balls on it. Brian Walters is in. John Padilla, Omar Lopez, Giovanni Perez, Jack Sultan, Noel Doubt. I spent hours on the Bills YouTube enjoying the implosion last night. It was tasty. Man of 1,005 holds. I think Man of 1,005 holds is right, Sean. Let's do it for the Denver Broncos. Let's give them a victory cigar. Got to do that. I mean, why not, right? And by the way, the Perdomo factory is at 5150 Northwest 167th Street there in Miami Gardens. So go check it out. You will love it. I promise you. Plus, we have got Perdomo Lounges in Alabama, in Hoover, Alabama, at Cigars and More in Patton Creek, in Alabama, and Trustville Cigar Company in Trustville, Alabama. Here in Florida, in Pompano Beach at the Smoke Inn. Also, it's in Stewart, my friends in Stewart, Black Dog Cigar. Hey, mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. In Georgia, Hiram, Georgia, D&D Company has a Perdomo Lounge. In New York, sitting on the curb drinking some coffee. If you're in Steenburg, New York, Smoking Bear Cigars has a Perdomo Lounge. So check those out. Many Perdomo lounges around the country. So check that out. And you are correct, sir. So we give them a victory cigar. That was very good. Very good idea on your part, my man. Let's see. Jay Gelfin is in. Thank you, Jay, as always. Reminds everybody to hit that notification bell and, of course, hit the like button. Very important. Cristo Mako is in. I think we drafted the right QB. Yes, you are correct, sir. One-Eyed Jack is in. Kyle Cockrell, Coach AJ. This was the greatest bye week ever. The Buffalo Bills are frauds. Let's see. Chad, Steven Gonzalez. I was a Broncos fan last night. Yep. Canes, Dolphins, 89. Good morning to everybody. Hunter Butler, Duck Dog, DJ Ozone. The Ozone Man says, good morning, all. How about them Bills and Josh Allen? I'm sorry to say, but Allen is just not that good. He doesn't have a he doesn't have a wow arm. I haven't seen him throw 70 yards through the air. His problem is accuracy and consistency. That's really his problem. That's why I tell everybody, all the arm queens out there, it's not about how tall you are. It's not about how fast you run. And it's not about throwing it out of the stadium. It's nice if you can do those things. But more importantly is intelligence, ball placement, anticipatory skills, accuracy. All of those things are way more important. Those are the most important traits of a quarterback. And then the other ones are the bonuses. But if you don't have those, then you're done. And that's what we keep trying to explain to all these arm queens out there. The best quarterback in the AFC East, his name is Tua Tagovailoa. And it's not even close. The best passer by miles is Tua Tagovailoa. Okay? That's already done. I get it. Josh Allen has gotten farther. The team has been better and all that kind of stuff. And you know, you can say you can't have it both ways now. Now people say, well, he's not running as much. They're not doing this as much and all that. Well, then, but when he runs, he's going to take all those hits. Which way do you want it? So what? He can't win from the pocket? Ooh, I wonder what host talks about running quarterbacks having to win from the pocket, and that's the problem. I wonder who talks about that all the time, especially with a guy in Baltimore that can't win from the pocket. You know, we talk about this all the time, that the ones that win the championships in the end aren't the guys that can run around like crazy. It's the guys that can stay in the pocket and win from the pocket. It's nice to be able to run, but that has to be the complementary piece to you being a pocket passer. If you are a running quarterback and you cannot be a pocket passer, there's a great chance you will never win a championship in the NFL. Absolutely great chance. You will have to be surrounded by like what Trent Dilfer has been, or no arm Peyton Manning, or Brad Johnson or, something so dominant. Bob Greasy, he only had to throw the ball 6 times in a Super Bowl. If you have such a dominant team, then okay, any quarterback pretty much, as long as you don't screw it up, you can win it. But if, Lamar Jackson or Cam Newton or Josh Allen or Ryan Tannehill or any of these quarterbacks that have to survive by the running game, you'll never win a championship. You got to win from the pocket, man. And that's, to me, what Josh Allen proves consistently, that he cannot win solely from the pocket. He has to run in order for his game to actually be good. Because in order for him to win from the pocket, you have to be consistent. That's the beauty of, I remember when people would pick on Tom Brady. Oh, he's just short passes, or Peyton Manning, or I used to hear with Joe Montana, the slants and all the short passes. There is something to that consistency that a lot of quarterbacks can't do it. And some quarterbacks don't even have the patience to continue to, okay, you're only going to give me the 5-7 yard. Okay, I'm going to keep taking. I'm going to keep taking it. And then boom, I'll hit you whenever you give it to me. A lot of the great ones, they'll lull you to sleep with that. But that's part of their greatness, the consistency, to be able to deliver that ball accurately all the time. There's a gift to that. And that gift, Josh Allen does not possess. That gift, Tua Tagovailoa possesses. He oozes that shit out of his body. Okay? Tua Tagovailoa oozes accuracy like the feds print money in our country. Just like that. Comparison to a T. Okay? So best quarterback, best passer in the AFC East, and it's not, in fact, at this point, it's, I'm going to steal a line from the late, great Mad Dog, right? It's like being the valedictorian of summer school. It's really not a big deal anymore now being the best passer in the AFC East, because what the hell are we talking about? Zach the MILF Wilson, Mac Jones, and Josh Allen? We're not talking about great passers anyway. You know what I mean? What am I going to count Aaron Rodgers after 3 passes? That guy, that moron is trying to come back this year to just re-tear it again and put 2024 in jeopardy, which is so Jets. And it's not me rooting against him and rooting for him to get injured, but if he actually thinks he can come back, I laugh at that. That's just like Ryan Tannehill not having surgery, thinking it was going to magically repair itself in the offseason. And sure enough, when he had to use the knee, pop goes the weasel. And so the same thing will happen to Aaron Rodgers if and when he comes back. I think what will happen is the Jets will continue to lose, and then they'll get to a point where they'll say, well, there's no reason for him to come back. The Jet season's over. And so then all that hype will be for nothing. But if he wants to come back behind a terrible offensive line, be my guest. If you want to re-tear it, because that's what's going to happen, guaranteed that's what will happen. He will re-tear it again. But I don't give a shit, dude. You're the Jets. You want to do that? Go ahead. Let's see what else we got there. Gus 1388. The AFC East belongs to the Finns. Just win out. Just win the next 5. Duck Dog says Josh Allen is not clutch. Big moments. He craps the bed. Lenny Pena. Good morning, Big O and Sean, and good morning, Heat Fins Nation, watching from Port St. Lucie. Alex Palenzuela is in. More more investments, everyone. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know about investments, or I don't know what you were talking about specifically, but since we're early in the morning, just want to say very good news came across. Inflation went down to 3.2%. They were afraid that it might tick up to 4%. some of the analysts, and it actually went down even farther than they expected. Core inflation went down from 4.1 to 4.0. So that means that maybe Powell and company will not be thinking of rate hikes. I think that's why you had the dip here in the last 24 hours, this little dip, because considering things are up over 100%, in altcoins, and Bitcoin is way up. The dip yesterday was really good for those of you that just got in. For people like me that have been in it and we really got the real bottom, we're way up. It's not even, we're not buying now anymore, most of us, except for Bitcoin. This, you never stop buying. And yesterday was a little bit of a dip. It's still going on right now. So obviously it's the time, not a financial advisor, but now's the time to take advantage. I mean, big time. Okay. And just, again, not a financial advisor, but for those of you that are thinking about it and all of that kind of stuff, and I get asked all the time, hey, what are the good companies to get into, right now? What should I get into? Let me give you a little sum here so you guys can follow along at home, and give you a couple of obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum. You don't stop buying that right now until it gets out of control. Now's the time to buy that. Cardano still at a cheap price at 36 cents. Polygon still a pretty damn good price. Could have gotten a much better price, but right now at 91, it's still very affordable, very good. Polkadot could have gotten a much better price, but right now at 540, it's still a very good price overall. Let's see what else. Cosmos at 934, very good price. Hedera at 6 cents. H-bar, excellent price at 6 cents. Thorchain, it's up 2%, and again, could have gotten a little earlier, but at 5.15, it's still not a bad price. Optimism, excellent price still at 181. Near Protocol, very good price at 159. I'm not in either one of those, but I do like them. They are good. I can't afford them. I'm a working stiff. I can't get in every one. VeChain is an absolute steal still. Slow mover, but once it takes off, you're gonna regret that you weren't on it. Arbitron at 112, also excellent. Let's see. Theta, 94 cents. Theta is like the YouTube of the blockchain. Also very good deal right now. Let's see. Decentraland, I think at 44 cents is an absolute steal. Gala Games. I know that we've got a lawsuit going on, but the business itself is going to explode. It's just over 2 cents. I think it's a steal right now at this point. There's several companies that are really good deals right now. So those are some of them. Take advantage, because I think there's going to be a run now. Now that we found out that inflation's going down and core inflation went down, I would imagine that the markets are going to respond to that. Let me see what's going on, by the way, locally. Yes, Dow Jones is up 482 points. So, yeah, responded. S&P is up almost 79 points. The NASDAQ is up 0.75 of a point. So, as expected, the markets are responding. And I would imagine that we're going to get a Bitcoin pump today from this news. That's my guess. Get your stacks now, because you won't be able to down the line. And when Bitcoin is too expensive, do not complain. Let's see. Word up. Skylar Tipton in. Nyborg in. Jonathan Cagle, best bye week ever. It was pretty good. Brooklyn Rob is in. Walter Olivares. Jayhawk says, I don't like the Schwartz pickup, to be honest. Fast guy with no hands. I'd rather a slow guy with good hands. Hopefully we won't need to use him. Jayhawk, you're looking way too much into it, my brother. You're bogging yourself down. This is just an experiment. They're getting Craycraft back. They're loaded at wide receiver, dude. Loaded. They're so loaded they can tell Azukama, hey, kid, take off the year. So this is just an experiment. They've got him on a practice squad. They'll work it with him, see if they can get him to be a little bit more consistent. This is why, with all his speed, he was available and he's bounced around because he still has holes in his game. You're looking way too much into it, my brother. Way too much. He is, the Schwartz won't be with us for a while, if ever. Okay? So don't think, may the Schwartz be with you. He's not going to be with you. He's not. He's in the practice squad. He's just an experiment. They got a roster spot on the practice squad. They want to use it for a wide receiver. This is a fast guy. They love speed. Look at the Tanner Connor failure experiment so far for 2 years now. Guy's done nothing. And the only reason he's here is because of speed. So they will experiment with certain people because of speed. They love that. McDaniel loves that shit, dude. He has a need for speed all the time. So that's why he's here. It's not because there's any injuries that they're so concerned about or anything. No, dude, this is a luxury move at this point in time. They have a surplus of wide receivers. This guy has, unless he makes some kind of dramatic changes and quickness in his life, that all of a sudden they say, wow, we got to hurry this guy up and get him in there. He is so far behind everybody. This is one of those that you start to work on for a, training camp spot next year, basically, is what you're doing. So don't even bother with that. Diggs forces his way out of Buffalo this offseason, and Allen is stuck with zero talent. Book it. We shall see. Big O, when you mentioned the Bills had been to an AFC championship game, I completely forgot it was during the 2020 season. The game was on 124-21, and they got beat 38-24. Yeah. Wonder when Diggs will start throwing tantrums soon. Ron Torchia says, good morning, Big O and Sean. So it looks like Josh Allen is not Superman after all. He's going back to where he was when first drafted to bad to go Dolphins. Yes. Yes, sir. Let's see. I never knew a team can win a bye week. Yep. They won. They certainly won a bye week. But the Bills have a strong arm QB. Emilio Hernandez is in. 619 is in. Lewis Jones is in. Armando Justo. Chad says, hear me out, Big O. Sean Stanley equals Tom Brady. Amen to that. Amen to that. Love the guy. Stewart is right up the street from me. We'll have to check out the spot and get me a Perdomo. There you go. Nice. Stewart's a cool town, man. I like that area there. I like the Port St. Lucie, Stewart area. I think it's a cool area. Joe Bonamassa coming soon. You going? Yes. Yes, I'm going. And maybe, just maybe, we might have a little Bonamassa surprise for you here on the show. Not going to promise anything, But we working on something, so you never know. If you're a Bonamassa fan, stay tuned. P. Crown Vic, EJ Barro, Cosmo Petron. He's right. Just take care of business. Jayhawk. Michael Lombardo. Thank you, sir. Cap for life. Please explain how the Broncos beat the Chiefs, the Bills, but we can't. It's what we can't explain. And they better take care of the Bills the next go-around. It ain't about the size. It's about the motion of the ocean. That's what that's exactly it, Giovanni. Tim Eason, Bradley Cool. I'm from Colorado and hate the Broncos. Usually don't root for them, but last night helped. Soft schedule coming up. Cincy, Buffalo, KC have a tough road ahead. And Cap for Life says we got to win the division. Yep. Hell yeah. Hallelujah to Tua comments. Well, it's the truth. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you. Very, very nice for the love. Jonathan says that's why Mahomes is the best in the business, can do both when needed. Exactly. Yeah. Pat Mahomes is by far the best quarterback in the NFL. It's not even close. So the narrative for Miami is they can't beat the teams that are playoff caliber. The narrative for playoff caliber teams is they can't beat teams they should. Well, I'd rather not be Miami, Kevin, because Miami never does anything in the playoffs. So I'd rather be playoff teams that do things in the playoffs, get to an AFC championship game, get to an NFC championship game, get to a Super Bowl, and still underachieve sometimes and give up games you're not supposed to. I'd rather be that than be the team that can't beat the playoff teams and can't do anything in the playoffs. Not exactly sure why you want to be Miami. Not exactly sure, dude. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You know who I want to be? The Dolphins of the past. You go ahead and stay being the Dolphins of the last 20, 30 years. You go ahead and do that. You go ahead and be that. I have no interest in that. I have zero interest in watching Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor kill themselves every week and never do anything. Zero interest in that, my brother. I have zero interest in watching Ricky Williams run for 1,800 yards and it means nothing. Okay? Zero interest in that. If that's what you have, well, see, that's probably because you're a youngin'. Okay? I actually have lived when the Dolphins actually mattered and actually won and were feared and respected. That's what I want to be. That's the Dolphins I want. I don't know about you, but I certainly don't want what I've seen for the last 30 years. So Mike McDaniel still hasn't done what I need him to do. So I need him to beat good teams. I need him to get to the playoffs and win playoff games and go deep. You know, that's what Shula used to do. So I don't know about what you want, my brother, but anything that's been happening here, anything that resembles the last 30 years, I don't want anything to do with it, my brother, at all. Nothing. You can have it if you want. You can have it with a bow. You can have it with anything. You can have it with whipped cream and cherry on top. I want nothing to do with what the Dolphins resemble like the last 30 years. Nothing. Talk about having low standards. Anyway, good point, Big O. Like the Heat last year, who had a crappy regular season but kicked butt in the playoffs. I'd rather the Finns be the Heat than the Finns be the Cowboys. Exactly. This dude wants to be the fucking Cowboys. Are you kidding me? I'm tired of being like the Cowboys. The last time we mattered was the 72. Well, not 72. It's They mattered in the 70s. They mattered even in the 80s. They didn't win it, but, dude, they got to the Super Bowl twice in the 80s. We don't do anything. They don't win shit, dude. Jimmy Johnson would thoroughly get embarrassed in the playoffs. Dave Wanstead thoroughly got embarrassed in the playoffs. We don't do anything at all. So stop with the comparisons about what that team loses and what this team loses and that, and stop comparing that. The bottom line is, doesn't matter that KC lost to Denver. KC wins Super Bowls. It doesn't matter that Buffalo lost last night. Buffalo owns our team. They own them. Okay? Buffalo looks at the Dolphins and says, "You're my bitch." So it doesn't matter what happened last night. You still have to exercise that demon for yourself. Whatever happened yesterday doesn't mean anything. You still lost to that team yesterday. You know, the one that screwed up and had the 4 turnovers. We still watched our favorite team lose by 28 points to them. So we can feel good and all that stuff, but you still have to go out and get it done. You guys got to stop with that. This is the weak part of our fan base. You know, that we're excellent at living off of other people's misery. But how about we create their misery? That's what I would like. Because that's what the Dolphins did to the Bills for 10 straight years. 20 straight times they won. That's the kind of misery I want. I don't know about you, but I don't want somebody else to be creating the misery for me. Oh, well, we beat the Broncos by 70, and the Broncos now beat the Bills. So that makes me feel good. No, it doesn't. I'm glad they lost, but I want to see the Dolphins kick the Bills' ass by 28. That's when I want to feel good. And then next year when you run into them again, I want you to kick their ass again. And I want you to kick their ass again. Anyway. I don't know if Buffalo makes the playoffs. I mean, they seem like a mess right now mentally. It's going to be a borderline type of thing. But if they get in, they'll be dangerous. You know? And for Miami, you need to exercise that demon, like I said. You got to get it done at one point or another. And it's not beating them once. You need to start beating them consistently. Made some profit on the Hard Rock app last night betting live. Good call, Big O. There you go. Good for you. I kind of just watched the game. That game was so weird. I didn't want to take part in it because the Bills are not in a good place, you know, as you can see. And the Broncos are, you know, not very good. I mean, dude, they barely won a game, and the turnover ratio is 4-1. They were tied, and it was a 3-1 turnover ratio at 15-15. Like, you're not a good team. You know, the Broncos are really not a good team. But the Bills are they're in an ugly place. Let's see. We longtime fans want to beat them with our own hands. Done with other teams giving us a push into the playoffs. Yeah, because none of this matters unless the Dolphins take care of their own business. And that's what I want. You know? Big O and Marino era, I remember Jets fans would celebrate a Finns defeat while Finns would still go to the playoffs while Jets would watch from home. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Have your little pathetic win. What are you doing in the playoffs? John Geeb, thank you for the love on the super chat. Very nice of you. Don't forget Buffalo kept Miami out of a couple of Super Bowls in the early 90s in the playoff games We need to stop this loser's mentality. Only Super Bowls matter. We need to continue to grow. It's okay. There you go, John. You're with me. Good morning, Big O. Hopland, California, or Hopland, California. Hopland, California. Where is Hopland, California? Ron. Interesting. Hopland, California. Big O, I'm done getting excited about regular season wins. I want to see the good old days. My neighbors would disagree about my excitement levels, though. All right, let's get to it. Let's unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolfe.
Right, all right. Whoa. Love that. By the way,
He was there, right? He was there.
He was there. He was there, and then like Sagua Fair, he is gone. And now like Sagua Fair, he is everywhere.
What's good, O?
Not much, baby. Just got another little dip here in Bitcoin. Anyway, how you doing, baby? You doing good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's a rainy day, but I got a workout in and flowing through a Tuesday, so can't complain.
The problems in Bills land are deep, huh? I mean, it is. You know, it's funny because you hear the announcers and then you hear the people and the analysis on pre and post and all that stuff. And then they're like, well, they're not letting him run as much as they used to. And that's
right.
And then, but when they won, we're all saying, well, he's taking all those hits. It's kind of stupid.
Right.
So, and this is what you and I talk about all the time with running quarterbacks.
Right.
Okay. Make a living from the pocket. And can you consistently beat teams by living from the pocket? And that's, you know, that's the thing with guys like Josh Allen, guys like Lamar Jackson. Can you make a living from the pocket? And it seems like what they're trying to do with him now is not working because he probably does need to run more.
So I'll say this, and bear with me here. My last name is Wolf, and so I'm a big fan of wolves as animals. And I compare Josh Allen to a wolf to an extent, a wild wolf, right? A wild wolf is going to be a very dangerous creature. He's going to attack. You never know what he's going to do. But when you try to tame a wolf and put him in a house, make him a house pet, try to get him to be something he is not, that's typically when you have issues. And I make this comparison because I think all offseason they discussed Josh Allen. Don't be Superman so much. Don't turn the ball over so much. Don't run and get yourself hurt so much, right? And these things are smart things because, yes, if he didn't turn the ball over as much, he would be a better quarterback. If he didn't run as much, he would help himself with longevity. But he is a wild wolf. And when you try to tame a wild wolf, you take away what makes him him. And too often in games, I see him in between my coaches say, I can't do this versus this is what I'm supposed to do. And it just seems like a guy in between two beings. He's trying to be himself when he needs to make a play to help his team win the game, but he's trying to do what his coaches thinks as well. And ultimately it's led to more mistakes. I tweeted out a stat last night that I think people didn't really realize. Josh Allen's had more turnovers than any quarterback in football since he entered the league in 2016. No other quarterback has more turnovers than him. He leads the league in interceptions. He leads the league in turnovers this year. He led the league in interceptions last year, tied with Dak. This is who he is. You know, Brett Favre was a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he was a turnover-prone quarterback. And so you can be a very good to great quarterback, but the reality is this is his biggest Achilles heel. And although the Bills have a lot of issues, this is one issue that's limiting them, and it has limited them from going from very good to the great championship team.
Dude, I've got the analogy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right in your backyard, not your backyard, but where your heart is. Allen Iverson.
Yeah. I love AI. AI is my favorite player of all time.
You cannot change.
He had his limitations. Yep.
Right. He had his limitations, and he is what he is.
Yep.
And it's
absolutely
the only way he could play the game. He wasn't going to ever be an efficient player. It was just not in his DNA. That's not who he was.
Right.
You know, he had to play his game. You know what I mean? And so AI is kind of that wild child that you're talking about right there. Exactly. The same kind of guy. Cam Newton was like that you really weren't going to change Cam.
Exactly. And the reality is we saw Cam, they tried to change Cam late in his career after the injuries, after he lost some arm strength, and he just wasn't that guy. And he was out of the league not too far after. So the reality is, for better or for worse, Josh Allen was always going to be the guy that I'm going to go as hard and as my way as I can, as long as I can. And I may not play till I'm 40 because I take too many hits. I may never lead the league in completion percentage or lowest interceptions because that's not who I am. I think they've got to be all in and just let him be him and live with it for better or for worse, because right now you're getting a bit of both. You're getting the turnover-prone Josh Allen, but you're also getting the guy who is not making those deep shots down the field, the wild plays, the oh, no, yes plays. There's not a lot of those because he's so worried about the no element of it, right? And so the Bills are 5-5 now. And I tweeted this last night. They play the Jets, they play at Philadelphia, they play at the Chiefs, and then they play versus the Cowboys in their next 4 games. They could very well miss the playoffs. Forget winning the AFC East. They could miss the playoffs for the first time, I think, since Josh Allen's rookie year. And if that happens, I'd imagine there's some significant change in Buffalo.
Yeah, the window's closed on the Bills. I think you would agree with me here because they're not better than Cincinnati, and Cincinnati basically is a team on the rise, not on the decline. Kansas City has done a marvelous job of staying on top. Even the risky move that they made with their tackles this offseason they have survived with all of that, and they have balanced ways of staying on top, and they have to spend money on certain players, but they couldn't keep everybody at times, and yet they have stayed there overall. The Dolphins are on the rise in the conference right now.
Yep.
You know, the Bills, I think, have kind of reached their pinnacle, and now they reached their pinnacle, and now they're headed into a valley. Would you agree?
Yeah, this is a very big crossing word for the Bills because their window has been closing for a while. The issue with teams like the Bills is you pay your quarterback. We talked about this before. Once you pay your quarterback, you take away your advantage of the salary cap era. The Dolphins are in their advantage of the salary cap era because Tua has not yet reached his big money. Once you start reaching that big money in the next year or two, you're going to have to start making decisions on your roster. Ways you got to, maybe cut your roster to be able to afford certain things. Right now, the Bills are an old team. A lot of their defensive stars are old. I love Von Miller, but Von Miller has not been Von Miller this year. He's been coming off that ACL injury. He doesn't look like he is fully back yet. Their 2 safeties are both 30+, and they're showing their age as far as their speed. They lost Matt Milano, arguably their best defensive player for the season, and Daquan Jones. And so you're losing Tre'Davious White. And so you're losing a lot of key pieces of this defense, either due to age deterioration or injuries, which requires Josh Allen to do more and more and more. And that makes him make more and more and more mistakes, right? And so I think you're going to be entering this next offseason. You're going to have to make some decisions on cutting some key players. And this roster is going to get worse as far as talent before it gets better. And so their best window is definitely closing. And what do you do from that? What do you do from a front office perspective? It's hard to rebuild while you have a franchise quarterback. Everybody says they can do it, but it's hard to tell your fan base, hey, we need 1 year to go 4-12, 4-13, so that we can replenish our roster. It just doesn't work that way. And that's usually how you see those elite franchises start to crumble down. And so I'm worried for the Bills, for Bills fans, because there's a very real possibility that you've already seen your peak.
Too bad, Bills fans.
I was like, I know Dolphins. I'm about to say, I know Dolphins fans are not sad.
Yeah.
There's no tears shed. There's no like,
no.
Man, that sucks.
No.
It's the reality. It's the reality of it, and it's a different perspective. But you see a transition in the division. You see the Patriots going through what they're going through. They're 2-8. All the talk is, does Belichick get fired at the end of the year? Is he resigning? Is Mac Jones going to get benched again? Do they get a new quarterback? This was the team that was the class of the division. And then it was the Bills coming after them. They've won 3 straight division titles. They are supposed to be next. And now we see them on the downhill climb or downhill demise. And so you see the two quote unquote teams of the division going downhill, and the Dolphins are trending up. And the Jets are sort of in this kind of abyss, waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make a miracle recovery off his Achilles. But all of this is great news for the Dolphins, because not only the Dolphins are become the overwhelming favorite to win the division this year, they set themselves up to really be that team for the next at least 2 or 3 years with this current core. Their window is now, whereas the other team's window for the Patriots is past, for the Bills is closing.
Listen, I'm not wishing it on anybody, but if he wants to come back early, even though I think they'll lose too many games, and by the time he says he's ready in mid-December, they'll be out of the race, and they'll say, well, it's not worth it and all that. That's what's going to end up happening. But if he wants to come back, all he's doing is coming back to re-tear it again and put 2024 in doubt. And that would be so Jets. And if that's what you want to do, you go ahead and do that, my brother, because I'm sorry. This reminds me of the Ryan Tannehill thing, that he didn't have the surgery and he thought it could heal. And then the second he had to make football moves, that thing snapped. Well, for me, no, his Achilles 3 months later is not going to be healed. And behind that offensive line, a 40-year-old man is going to have to take off to run. And the second he has to take off to run and cut and all that, brother, it just you're just asking for more.
It's definitely risky, but I will say this: I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian here. I don't know the medical thing for Aaron Rodgers. It seems wild to me to think that he could be back in 3 or 4 months. I do think if he does come back, he's obviously going to be a statue. He's just going to be standing back there as a thrower. Can he be his style of quarterback, essentially being Tom Brady, quote unquote, in the pocket, where you're just moving, 6 inches left to right and just delivering the ball at quick passing and become a quick passer? I don't know. He's never really been that guy. Maybe he can transition to that. But I will tell you, the Jets, the way their roster is built and the way the playoff picture set up, if they can hang around, if they can sneak in as a wild card team or be in the mix at week 17 and 18, they become a very dangerous team with any level of competent quarterback. Zach Wilson has been playing a little better, but he's still Zach Wilson. And so because of that defense, because the Jets have a really good defense, I do say that is a scary team, even with a limited Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
Yeah, my problem is that he is limited and he will not be able to move the way he normally moves. And by the way, he was already not moving the way he normally used to move. Right. So now you're coming back from an Achilles injury that's not really fully healed. You're going to move even slower than you used to move from when you used to move before that. So we're talking about, brother, I mean, again, I don't wish it on anybody, right? But I personally, if it was a Dolphin, I was ripping Ryan Tannehill that year. Like, what a moron. He didn't have the surgery. This is ridiculous. And then he went on and blew out his knee. I would be the same consistent person here. I would be ripping the Dolphins and the organization and the player, thinking that he could come back from this. Because to me, it just, Cam, this sounds it sounds insane, dude.
I hear you. I got a question for you though. Do me a favor. I don't know. I don't have it on my phone. I can't pull it up while we're doing. Who do the Jets play this weekend? Do we know?
Sean,
Just a quick
pull it up for me there. Let me see.
While it's pulled up, I'll say my point. What I want to say here. I think it sets up a very interesting situation because the Dolphins play. I know the Dolphins play the Jets not this weekend, but next week for Black Friday, right? And it makes me wonder, based on what you know about both teams, the Bills and the Jets, which team are you? I don't want to say afraid of, but which team is the bigger challenger
at Raiders?
For the Dolphins. They play at the Raiders. No, that's the Dolphins. The Dolphins play at the Raiders this Sunday.
It's the Bills. The Bills.
Pulled up scoreboard. Bills. Wow. Oh,
so okay. So they play at the Bills. So that keys into my question. Which team would you rather win? Essentially to be your best challenger, because essentially it sets up to be a quote unquote elimination game for the AFC East for whoever loses that game. As a Dolphins fan, if you look at this objectively, which team would you rather lose and quote unquote be out of your division race? The Bills, who've been your bigger challenger, but have looked shaky of late, or the Jets, who are waiting for that miracle at the end of the season? I'm curious from your perspective, and Dolphins fans, for all the viewers out there in the chat, to give me your perspective of which team is, quote unquote, the bigger challenger that you would rather see fall.
I'd rather, this is twisted. I'd rather the Jets fall because I don't fear the Jets and I don't fear the receiving core.
Yep.
But because I want the Dolphins to exercise the Bills demon. And gotcha. I want them to kick their ass. Now, in the question you're asking, most Dolphin fans are going to tell you, oh no, I want the Bills out and we'll deal with the Jets and move on because of the Jets defense is special. There's no doubt in my mind. But I can't fear an offense right now. I didn't fear him when he was healthy because I didn't fear their wide receiving core. I don't think against this secondary, against Ramsey, X, and Holland. Come on, bro.
So
I got to be fastest show on turf or whatever. That's what I need in order if you're going to challenge my guys. That's the way I would.
The reason I asked that is that I felt like you actually had a surprising answer. For me, I feel like most Dolphins fans would rather the Bills lose because they feel like the Bills with their quarterback are still the more dangerous team. I feel like that's how most people in America think. But I want to caution you guys this, and I probably vote that way too, but I want to caution you guys this. Take a look at the Jets schedule and take a look at the Bills schedule. The Jets do have an easier schedule, and there's a real possibility, like I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a real possibility if the Dolphins lost this week against the Raiders, which they're big favorites, but the Raiders are hot. The Jets beat the Bills. Next week, the Black Friday game would be for first place in the AFC East. The Jets win, they would be the first place team in the AFC East with a easier quote-unquote schedule the rest of the way. And so I just think that it's intriguing for me from that perspective that although the Jets are seen as like this wounded animal because they have Zach Wilson, their quarterback, they are still hanging around, and they have a real possibility with that defense to be a sticky thorn in their size. They already beat Philly this year, and they've already beat Buffalo. And so this is a team that has shown they can, even through their limitations at quarterback, can win games against teams with quote-unquote good quarterbacks. So I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, no, I got it. Just Aaron Rodgers.
They're statues!
Yeah. Yeah.
They're statues!
Yeah. Statues. I cannot fear the statue overall. All right, so Achan comes back, and Hunt, what's your gut tell you?
I don't think he'll play this week. I think that it was very interesting that Mike McDaniel said he was still week to week. I think we talked before the bye, and my thought was he's coming from a hamstring. He's an offensive lineman. If it's not a bad hamstring pull, I thought he was going to push it. But the fact that he's week to week, and I saw him yesterday at practice, he was in street clothes. He wasn't even in a jersey. He was in street clothes doing rehab. I think you're looking at, hey, we're gonna give him at least another week. And so my guess would that you see a backup right guard this week, and they give him a little time. That kind of tells me, without Mike McDaniel telling me, that maybe it was beyond a grade 1 hamstring pull. Maybe it was a grade 2 kind of deal, because offensive linemen typically come back a little quicker from hamstrings because, let's just be real, they don't have to run that far. But, he's a guy that you need for the rest of the season. And as I told you guys with previous injuries, the Dolphins have been conservative to keep guys for the end of the season and say, hey, if it's an injury that we could put you back in 2 weeks, maybe we wait 3 or 4 weeks to make sure you're 100% and don't get a re-aggravation of a soft tissue injury. That's what they did with Achane. Achane could have missed a week or two. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. And let me add a caveat to all of that. They look at it. I know we don't, but they've been looking at it like this for months. You all worry so much about the offensive line, a lot more than we do, because what we also have to start looking at is they got backups. Yeah. The Dolphins are one of the few teams that can field 5 guys and they've got backups. Okay. Right. Which is, it's rare to have 5 guys. We should know that because we haven't had 5 guys for over 20 years. And then it's also rare not only to have 5 guys, not the hamburger place, but the alignment, but also to have backups. And they are comfortable with their backups. They're not panicking anymore like we used to panic all the time. I think we all have to kind of retrain our brains when it comes to the way we look at the Dolphins and the offensive line. They're actually better than most. So you look at the Raiders this week and you say, such and such player can handle the Raiders. We're better off holding Hunt off for 1 more week. This has worked well for us all year long, taking the precautionary approach to all of this, and it's paid off. So why not continue, especially when you have serviceable players there?
Absolutely. I think, especially with soft tissue injuries, conservative is the right call, because how often do you see guys come back from an injury and then they pull the same thing and now they're out that same amount and likely more? So if you missed Hunt for 2 weeks for the hamstring, you come back, he pulls it again, he's probably out at least 3-4 weeks on the second injury. And so now you've made it a 6-week injury when maybe it could have been a 3 or 4 week injury. And so, I get it. I think that fans always like guys if they're close to play, but I do think there's a lot of strategic element in being conservative. And McDaniel will never say it, but I'd imagine that opponent and your record has something to do with it. The fact that they are 6-3 in the AFC East lead, you can make decisions that you might not make if you were 5-5, a game and a half back trying to fight for a playoff spot, or if you were playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe you make a slightly different decision. But, I think you'll see Robert Hunt probably out this week. But Achane back is a huge deal. I think you'll see him immediately go back into his old role where he and Raheem Mostert are essentially 1A and 1B in the backfield. And he gives them a little bit more diversity in their attack. I will tell you this, I think this matchup actually favors the Dolphins because the Raiders don't have an elite defensive line interior. But Max Crosby is a monster. And they've got to figure out a plan for him, because I've watched Max Crosby play, and I don't think he's talked about enough. I think he's one of the 5 or 7 best defensive players in football. I think he's that good of a player, and I don't think people view him in that light because he's been on a losing team, because he plays on the West Coast. But look at his numbers, but also look at the fact that he plays 98% of defensive snaps. He never comes off the field. The last 7 games, he's missed 2 snaps, and it's been 2 kneel downs. No defensive line does like that, and he's a guy who can wreck that game, especially the way they're playing for their new coach, Antonio Pierce. If they can make that game ugly, they've got a chance. I know the Dolphins are 11-point underdog or favorites. But I hope they come into the 12, and they should win. Don't get me wrong, they should win, but I hope they come out. They better come out with a level of intensity coming out of the bye. If they come out like they did against Carolina, they could be in for a rude awakening.
Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe and catch his work there at the NFL Network. Cam, we'll catch up later on in the week, my friend. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Enjoy your team. Thank you.
Sounds good.
You got it. There you go, Cameron Wolfe. And call our friends at KSDT CPAs. Wherever you're at in Florida, you can call them. And you can do your personal taxes, your business taxes. And we've got offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. And we also opened up a new office in Charlotte, North Carolina. And guess what? They're hiring in all 4. So If you happen to work in this area, call our friends at KSDT CPAs. You could end up getting a job. 305-670-3370. Use that QR code so you can help your business get the edge they need with KSDT CPA. Anthony Chang will start off hour number 2 of the Big O Radio Show.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Heat fans, the fast break is on. It's our Baptist Health of South Florida Heat Report with insider Anthony Chang. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Anthony Chang.
All right. The Miami Heat are back in action tonight, taking on the Charlotte Hornets. How you doing, my friend? You doing good?
Good. Is this Wi-Fi better than the last time?
Slightly better, but you're home, right? So
I am home.
Better,
yeah,
right?
I'm home, thankfully.
You feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good. It's been a really good trip for the Heat. I mean, to start this stretch of 9 of 10 on the road, 3-0. You could say what you want about the opponents. They haven't been the best opponents, but they take care of business on the road. A road win is a road win. It's been a really encouraging week and a half for the team.
Better than digging yourself in a hole that you got to climb out of.
Exactly, like last season.
And that's to me, I talked about this yesterday. I credited the Heat and the Panthers because the Panthers are 9-4-1, and both of these teams had to dig themselves out of a hole to sneak into the playoffs, and then they made their magical runs.
Yeah.
But you know that shit ain't sustainable. So, and we talk about teams that we talk about, especially the Heat. And basketball in general, like people don't take the regular season that serious, and it's nice to see them taking it serious and winning. Now, let's get to the shocker now here, okay? Let's get to the shocking shit that's going on with the Miami Heat, and I'm going to leave you floored with a couple of these conversations we're about to have here, because I'm sure you did not listen to my segment yesterday on this.
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson is Goran Dragic. And what I mean by that is, do you remember when we first saw the Goran Dragic contract? We said, oh my God, what the hell is this? How are you paying him this kind of money? What are you guys, out of your mind? And then 2 years later, the whole market reset and Goran was playing well. And then we're all looking at each other going, hey, you know that Goran Dragic contract? That shit is a bargain. You know, that shit is the Heat were ahead of it. Well, guess what's going on with Duncan Robinson now that he is no longer just a shooter, now that he is starting to help you out in all kinds of areas. What do you say about his $18 million salary?
Not bad.
Bargain now?
I don't know if it's a bargain, but it definitely does not look as bad as it did a few years ago or even last season. Credit to Duncan.
Dragic.
Yeah.
Dragic.
Credit to Duncan. He wasn't playing. He lost his spot in the rotation, lost his starting job to Max Strus, went to work, got better, and you're seeing his work pay off this year. I mean, it's honestly one of the most shocking developments, surprising developments, biggest developments of this season is that Duncan now
last season.
starting last season, but even to this extent,
credit. He did it last year.
No, he did, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, it started last
year. But this year, it's at another level. I mean, it's consistently he's taking guys off the dribble. It's not he's always been a good cutter. He's always been a good finisher on the basket because of his size. But the fact that with his handle now, his handle is so much improved. The two moves he made in San Antonio were the two of the best moves I've ever seen him make. Obviously the Smitty on the baseline with Wemby, and then the step back James Harden 3 he took in the corner. Just really, really, good stuff from Duncan. They need it. He's one of the most important players on the team because they need his shooting. There's not that much shooting on this roster, especially with Hero out. And shooting threes at 35%, not great by his standards, but it's everything else he's doing now. His passing, his attacking, the space he creates, that's been really important.
Brother, if you don't think his contract's a bargain, he can get traded now in a heartbeat now. In a heartbeat, somebody will take that contract. Okay? That's kudos to him.
Yeah, now, kudos for sure.
Now you're sitting down, right? You're sitting down?
Yes.
Okay. So 3 years ago, he averaged 18.7. Then he averaged 19.1, and then 20.4. And so he kind of stayed within that 1.5 range. Last 3 games. Now, slow down here. Okay, 24, 20.
That's 4 games. 4 games. Right, pretty much. 4.
No, last 3 games is where I think he's really is what my point is where I'm getting at. Still too early to say it because I need to see it for months now, not for a couple of games. But I'm watching a guy that wants to impose his offensive will on teams. That's what I'm watching with Bam now, the last couple of games. Again, I'm not trying to I don't want to get ahead of myself because I'm the guy that's called him a super role player throughout his career.
Say it, Big O, superstar. Say it.
Starting to play like a franchise player, like a superstar, like a guy that wants to impose his will. Now, the 24, 26, and 30 that I've got in the last 3 games, I need to see this on an every night basis. Because a team like this, with Jimmy and Lowry, they need a guy to be a force like this every night because Jimmy has needed a star. So has Bam woken up? Is this just an aberration like he's done in the past, that it's a couple games and then he goes back to being the guy that kind of fills the role again instead of being the guy? Because that's what I've witnessed the last couple of games. A man that wants to impose his will. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I've always thought a little more highly of Bam than you.
Of course. Most people do.
Which I understand where you're coming from. As to your point, I think both things can be true, as Eric Spoelstra is known to say. I think some of it is because Tyler Hero's out, right? And Bam needs to score more. I think that's part of it. I think he's also improved his offensive game like he has the past few seasons. He's getting to the free throw line more, which is really big for him. He's averaging a career high in free throw attempts. Those are easy. He's an 80% free throw shooter. If he gets to the line 2 or 3 more times a game, that's pretty much 2 points more, he averages a game. That's important for a team that plays a lot of close games. But I will caution you with this. He still doesn't get to the rim that much for a big man.
I know.
A lot of his shots are mid-range shots. He's become a more efficient mid-range shooter, but there's going to be – when you depend so much on the mid-range, there's going to be times in the regular season, just like last year, where he doesn't hit that mid-range shot as much, and he's going to go through a little bit of a shooting slump when you rely so much on mid-range. And that's when it looks like, oh, he's being passive. He's not attacking because it's highlighted more that he's taking that little mid-range shot instead of attacking the basket. So, yes, he is playing a lot better. The mid-range shot's going in right now. But that's the only thing I would say is when you rely so much on that mid-range 2-point jumper, you're going to go through droughts in the regular season. But it is encouraging that he's getting to the line more. He's rebounding better. And I don't even know. This is the more surprising thing to me. He's becoming a better defender, which I didn't think he could become a better defender. He's becoming a better rim protector. He is taking another leap. Now, the only thing I would caution is the mid-range shot. That's the thing that it's probably going to go cold.
The 3-point to his game, dude.
Yes, eventually he will. Eventually he will.
Man,
Yeah.
that's the part that pisses me off most about Bam. It's not like he lacks the talent or lacks the stroke or lacks the technique or none of that, bro. This guy doesn't lack a damn thing.
No.
Nothing. The Lord blessed him with everything he needs. All he needs is the will, like what I saw from Duncan. That will, that drive, that need, that want to be great and want the ball and be selfish, bro. I need Bam to be a little bit more of a son of a bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I loved about Alonzo Mourning. You know, Alonzo Mourning was just not going to be denied. And he had an attitude about it. You know what I mean? And he demanded the ball. And he wanted the ball in those big moments. And Bam has way more athletic ability than Alonzo. Alonzo was more of a Alonzo had to work a hell of a lot more on his game to be an offensive player than Bam ever has to, bro. Bam has way more natural fluid ability than Zoe does. And so that's where, you know, to me, that's what fuels me more about my criticism for Bam, because he has it.
You see it. Yeah.
I
think you're seeing that a little bit more this year. I mean, defensively, I feel like he's always had that. He always wants the matchup of like guarding the best perimeter guy. He never shies away from that. Offensively, he's being more aggressive. Like, you know, again, he's drawing more free throws, which is big. So yeah, I think he's taking another leap. I honestly think he's a top 15 player in the NBA already. Two-way player, not just taking offense into account. Two-way player, total package. I think he's a top 15 guy. I think he's gonna be in the running for an all NBA spot. I mean, I don't know if there's three centers better than him in the league. So credit.
No. Two, you can argue
two for sure. Yeah, two for sure.
Are going to always be ahead of him.
Yeah, but he's going to be there for that third spot. He's going to be one of those two or three guys, you know, fighting for that spot that's going to be in the running. So yeah, I think Bam, this is big for the Heat. The one thing that's been the most encouraging thing for me with the Heat so far, it's early, is that they needed internal improvement. They didn't make any big additions, right? And it seems like everybody has gotten better. Bam, Tyler, Haywood Highsmith, Duncan Robinson. Yeah. Then Jaime Jaquez I know he wasn't on the team last year, but he's an upgrade, right? From other bench guys you had last year. They've all become better players, and that's a credit to each individual player and also the player development staff, like just the coaching staff of working with these guys and continuing to add to their games.
Yeah, and remember the Heat they haven't been healthy yet.
No,
have yet to field a healthy team. And right now they're, you know, last night, the other night they played without Lowry, who, by the way, was phenomenal the other night. He actually had a great night the other night. And then you're playing without Caleb and you're playing without Tyler. So, you know, you're missing some big guns right now on the team, and you're doing all right now. Now, after that rocky start, you now won 4 in a row, right? Is it 4 in a row?
5 in a row.
5 in a row. You know, things are looking much better right now. If you can get healthy, and then we're gonna remember. I told you at the beginning of the year, I don't think they're going to miss the points they lost from the two guys. The only thing I'm concerned about was the ball handling and the creation, because behind Lowry there was, you know, obviously a question mark. Is it Drew Smith? You know, then how much does Tyler have to carry, and Bam and all that kind of stuff? Because that's the one thing that I think you're missing in the point guard part, you know, with Gabe, the ball handling part. But I think you'll replace the Strus and the Gabe points from everybody else that you have because of what you just talked about, people improving and the Jaime Jaquez. Yeah,
and also, and give credit to Drew Smith, like. Drew Smith has, I think a lot of us, when he got signed to that standard contract, we were like, why? And I guess we understood because of, you know, they were thin at point guard. Like you said, they needed ball handlers. But he's been solid, you know, averaging the third most deflections in the NBA. He's shooting over 40% on threes. He's playing important fourth quarter minutes on this trip with Hero out. And he's been reliable. So he's another guy that, you know, he's been around for the last few years on a two-way, off a two-way, Now he's on the standard roster getting consistent playing time because they're injured, and he's given them good minutes. So credit to him as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, they find guys and they know how to develop people, and obviously that is a reason why they're constantly on top. Caleb, how far is he from returning?
That's the big mystery. I've talked with him, spoken with him a few times over the last few weeks, just kind of in the locker room, not recording anything, just seeing how he's feeling. He's like, I'm feeling better, I'm close, and he's been, after we go in there after practices, after shoot-arounds, and he's putting up shots. He's not participating in the shoot-arounds, being held to the side, but he's putting up shots after, and kind of running around and all that after the session's done. So he's active, but it seems like they really want to get him as close to 100% as possible. He played that one game in the opener, and we both saw Big O. He did not look like himself at all. And they're winning right now, so why rush it, right? So I think that's kind of the thinking right now. Caleb is not like missing games. If it was up to him, he wouldn't have missed any time. He would have just kept playing. He is not happy he's having to miss time, but you want him right for when it matters most. You don't want this lingering all season, and I think that's the approach they're taking right now.
We're missing anybody today? Anybody going to take it off today?
As of right now, it doesn't seem like that. It looks like the usual guys that are out. Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, two-way guys. But it looks like the other guys will be available. We'll see if that changes. Josh Richardson is probable with back spasms. That's kind of been going on now for the past few days. But he's been able to play through it the last two games. So I would imagine that he'll play again tonight.
Jaquez, what'd you think the other night in the San Antonio game?
Just continues to just be solid. Like, he's had he's had great moments, but the other game, most of the game's just been solid. Like, doesn't make many mistakes for a rookie. Good on much better defender. I think that's the thing that stood out the most is he's a much better defender. Yeah, but still, you wonder, like, he has the body, but does he have like the lateral quickness to stay in front of guys? He's guarding the best players on other teams, and he's staying in front of them, making it tough on them. Maybe he doesn't always get a stop, but he's always right there. So that's been one of the most impressive things.
Yeah.
And then offensively, they're running offense to him in the post a lot of times, like for a rookie. I know he's 22 years old, but still impressive. The one thing is the three-point shot, right? That's the one thing that he'll have to continue to develop. But, this coaching staff has proven that they could make guys, better three-point shooters. Look at Caleb Martin. He was like a 20-something% three-point shooter before he got to the Heat. I think he shot like 60% on threes in the Eastern Conference Finals last season. So yeah. I would imagine Jaime Jaquez, give him a year or two, he'll be a good three-point shooter.
Yeah, dude. And he has the work ethic, so he'll be fine. They'll figure it out. What do you got going on in the Herald so folks can check you out?
Yeah, yesterday I posted 10 observations from the first 10 games of the season. A lot of the things we just spoke about, just kind of going into detail about that stuff. Duncan Robinson's, growth, Bam Adebayo's best career start. Like, he's off to one of the best seasons, or the best season of his career. Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry's usage rates going down a little bit to start this season, while Bam and Tyler's usage rates go up. So just different things that I've noticed from the first 10 games. So check that out. And then later today, I'll have actually something on Drew Smith, who we just spoke about. Been impressive. Again, he's not in the rotation probably if the team's healthy, but he's proven to be a good, reliable depth piece for them now at this point early on, when he's been needed. So I'll have that up later on today before the game against the Hornets.
It's a long-ass season. You'll get plenty of playing time because people will miss. That's just the way it is, bro.
Yep.
Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. Subscribe there to the Miami Herald. Catch his work there. We will catch up with you on Friday, my friend. Thank you for taking some time.
Of course, Big O. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Baptist Health of South Florida. When we talk about Baptist Health, folks, the staff at Baptist Health, orthopedic care is comprised of highly specialized, board-certified, and fellowship-trained orthopedic physicians, supported by advanced practice providers and athletic trainers, all of whom play a vital role in the patient's experience. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has locations from Monroe to Palm Beach County.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Heat Report with Anthony Chang is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net.
All right. Spo gets the most out of his roster every time, Jim. Every time. Best coach in the business, period. Big O, I am behind as I had a meeting. I prefer the Jets to lose to the Bills, as the Bills still have to play KC, Philly, Dallas, Jacksonville Chargers, and Miami Jets have easier trending schedule. That is true. That is true. I have no problem with it. Either, listen, man, it's about Miami taking care of business. Who cares what the Jets do? Who cares what the Bills do? Who are the Patriots? But no, seriously, you've got 2 games against the Jets. Beat their asses. You got another game left with the Bills. Please beat the Bills. And that's it. You won't have to. Who cares what happens after that? Don't care. You'll win the division by several games, and hopefully you'll start winning games in the playoffs, because I certainly don't want to get to the playoffs and lose in the first round. You know? Roberto Di Maria talking some football. How about ending the game with 12 men on the field? Way to silence Bills crowd. That stadium was shut down. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. He misses the field goal, and you have 12 men on the field. I mean, it's just, they want to fire Sean McDermott now. They got all that. Let's talk about the repercussions now from this loss. So the Bills yesterday, you've got a quarterback that's in shambles. You've got an offensive coordinator that is not running what they need, obviously. So it's looking bad on him. It's looking bad on the quarterback. It's looking bad on the head coach. Your team is much better than, what are they, 5-5 after that loss, right? I think. Yes, 5-5. You're better than 5-5, but this is who you are. Your fan base has lost their shit. Your quarterback really is not playing with a lot of confidence. No matter what he may tell you or say or do or whatever, you can tell this guy is not playing with a lot of confidence right now. This is not a team playing with a lot of confidence, because if Denver can in key moments drive down the field on them, not even defensively is this team playing with a lot of confidence. And then you've got Stephon Diggs. And Stephon Diggs, when the going gets tough, well, Stephon Diggs is not tough enough, and he'll want to run away, right? And so here you've got his brother, Trayvon Diggs, tweeting out that, I don't know if you can see it there. You're going to have to take down that. There you go. Now you can see it. So he's tweeting out, man, 14 got to get up out of here or out of there. So 14 is obviously his brother, Stephon Diggs, his older brother. You got that going on now. So, you know, Stephon is going to start complaining and whining like a little bitch, like he normally does, about anything that doesn't go his way. When the tough get going, well, Stephon gets his ass out of there. That's kind of the way it works. And I can imagine that there's a slew of teams that are dying to trade for the volatile Stephon Diggs. A lot of salary to give up for a petulant child. Yes, he can play, but he is up in age. How old is Stephon Diggs already at this? Isn't he like 31 or 30, something like that? I want to say he's at that point where you're at the tipping point for wide receivers where the talent starts to fall off at one point. I think he's right up there. That would be kind of dangerous to do that. But there's a lot of implosion going on in Buffalo. That window's closed. It's over for them. They're not winning a championship. They are no longer a threat. They are not the best team in the AFC, not even close. They are no longer even the best team in the AFC East. The only problem is the Dolphins have to go out and prove it. Even though they have a better record and they have a 2-game lead on the Buffalo Bills right now, they still have to beat them. The Bills still own them. So they got to do it. Yes, sir.
29.
It's 29. Okay. When's he going to be 30?
In about 2 weeks.
Okay. In 2 weeks. And the Bills are firing offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, a source confirms. So Ken Dorsey is gone. How about that? In the middle of what we're talking about. You want look at that. Look at the crap that's going on now. How many laptops is he breaking right now, Ken Dorsey? Remember we talked about this yesterday, right? Because we have our love down here for Ken Dorsey, the player for the University of Miami. Maybe he's not as good a coach that some of you, we all thought he was. But somebody's good. They can't trade Josh Allen. They're not going to trade Josh Allen, so they have to fire the offensive coordinator. And since Brian Daboll left, things have not gotten better with the Bills, or even the same. They've gotten worse along the way with Ken Dorsey. So look at that. In the middle of talking about the repercussions of having this losing streak, being 5-5 and underachieving, your quarterback's not playing with confidence. He's turning over the ball. As Cam Wolfe mentioned, he has turned over the ball more than any other quarterback in the NFL since he got to the league. You got Stephon Diggs, probably, he's like a volcano in Iceland, volatile as hell. And so he's about to explode himself. Not good. Not good. Not that I care, but not good. So things are getting crazy in Buffalo. Bills just save money on laptop stock. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's a good call by you, Brett. Yes, sir, Sean.
Did you see who they put as interim OC now? Joe Brady.
Wow. LSU's own Joe Burrow's dude, right? Isn't that Joe Burrow's dude? From college? Wasn't he the coordinator for LSU when they won the championship? I think so. I want to say it was Joe Brady. Let's see. You think they hired Josh McDaniels as an OC? Yes, I do. I think everybody's going to want to hire. In fact, I think Mike McDaniels is going to hire Josh McDaniels, and he's going to step aside. Okay. And the Buffalo Bills have officially released a statement. We have relieved offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey of his duties. Quarterbacks coach Joe Brady will serve as interim offensive coordinator. Oh, Lordy. Scapegoat, or maybe Ken Dorsey's not that good. That's the other. We also have to kind of leave that there too. Okay. Jesus Christ, you're the Lord, the King. Keep bringing us blessings. Well, let me see. Hold on a second. Is Bitcoin up or down? Hold on. Speaking of blessings, hold on. Okay, it's trying to make its way back up. Oh, yeah. No, it's making its way back up. Blessings. It's starting to make its way back. I'm with you there. Blessings. I'm having fun with it. Relax out there, okay, folks, because some of you might get a little uptight with all that stuff. Oh, I'm happy the Bills are losing, says Skylar Timpton. They deserve it. But it's important to note how significant their injuries on defense are, just like how bad our injuries were on defense last year. No, Skylar, ours don't ever count. Just like, Tua didn't have a coaching staff or support the first 2 years. But let's just go ahead and judge Tua. You know what I mean? No, but you're right. You're right. You are so right. And last year we got no breaks for that. And I gave the Dolphins every break in the book because last year those injuries were so crippling. It was disgusting how crippling it was. Can we send Safid a reminder, please? Because Safid Dean is due up to get it done here. Kind of like Sean Williams and the great people at Essential Moving Experts. Over 1,700 happy customers have said that moving was never so easy and the experience was amazing. You can see those reviews for yourself. And one of the things that Essential Moving Experts separates themselves from everybody else is flat rates, no surprise charges. A lot of these companies, most of these companies, they give you ballpark figures on how much the job will cost. $1,000 to $1,500, $3,000 to $4,000, $5,000 to $7,000. You're like, yo, man, give me a set price. At Essential Moving Experts, they're going to tell you, no, it's $750. No, it's $1,500. No, it's $2,000. No, it's $2,500. No, it's $1,300. The set price they give you, the fixed price, is the exact price you're going to get. And, of course, safe and efficient moving, loading, and unloading of all practices all the time. Call, please, Sean Williams and the great people at Essential Moving Experts, 386-213-4054. That's 386-213-4054. Long moving services, home moving services, long distance moving services, office relocation. And by the way, if where you're moving is not ready for another week or a month, they will store all of your goods at their warehouse for up to a month on the house. Now, if you need it longer, you can negotiate with Sean. If you need it for 2 or 3 months, they'll store it for you. But obviously that needs to be negotiated and the price needs. But for the first month on the house. So call Sean Williams, call Brooke, tell them I sent you. They are fantastic people. 386-213-4054. All right, let's do it. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins football with the one and only Safid Dean.
Let's get the latest from the Aqua and Orange with our Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with USA Today insider Safid Dean. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Safid Dean.
Shit is falling apart, bro. Josh Allen has no confidence. He's throwing interceptions galore. He's had more turnovers in the NFL than anybody since he got into the league, as Cameron Wolfe told us. Sean McDermott, people are saying he should be fired. Today, they just fired Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator. Life in Buffalo is good.
It's going great. It's going great in Buffalo. There's crazy times up there, man. The Ken Dorsey news, a little bit of a shocker. Especially when I've been one of the people that have been, kind of talking about how much Josh Allen has missed Brian Daboll in the past 2 years since he left to go coach the Giants. Obviously there was a lot of chemistry.
Ken Dorsey? Maybe it's that Miami thing that we've done down here that we fall in love with. Oh, Dalvin Cook will put us over the top. I remember hearing that stupid shit. So maybe it's that whole thing that every time there's a Miami tie, we exaggerate the shit out of it. Maybe it's all right. Maybe Ken Dorsey's not that good. I don't know.
The Heat are going to make the finals again. You saw what Duncan Robinson did to Wemby. I mean, that guy's going to be an all. Well, we can keep going on about this. Messi and Inter Miami, they're going to win every game they play.
That's right.
That doesn't happen either. We do this in Miami a lot. We are big-headed down here. And I actually do love it. I love how pompous we can be at times because I mean, we just live in an incredible city. We think of anything, we go outside. It's raining today, but I mean, you go outside, it's beautiful weather. We don't have to deal with the 40s and the 30s. We don't have to shave ice off our windshields. We can sit back and ponder about who will do great in our team and be like, oh, yeah, extrapolate everything. But, getting back to Ken Dorsey, I definitely think for the Bills, it was a continuity thing for sure. Brian Daboll called the plays. It was his offense. And then Ken Dorsey had to assume the offense, and try to make it his own. And Josh Allen also assumed the offense and try to make it his own as well. 3 turnovers by him in that game last night, 4 overall when you add James Cook and his fumble in the game. They had James Cook had another fumble that he picked up and continued to run. And good for the Bills to lose that game. Good for them. Because they've been getting away with some crazy wins this year. Like the Giants game, last play of the game, should have been pass interference. The Tampa game, last play of the game, should have been pass interference. That's just if you ask me, all those plays, I can understand why the refs are holding their flags in those situations because you want the refs to get the hell out of the way. But the right calls were there kind of to be made. And they could have been, lost. They could have 2 more losses on their record as well, too. But when you look at the Bills right now, it's pretty crazy to see they're 5-5, 500, right? And could be 3-7, honestly, with the games I mentioned. Buffalo has a real chance to miss the playoffs this year. They've lost so many games against AFC teams. You look at the Bills, the Patriots, the Jets, the Broncos last night, obviously. They've lost to too many AFC teams that any tiebreak situation that they kind of come into, they might end up being on the tail end of it because of the losses that they have in the conference. So this is a turning point for the Bills for sure. And that whole tenure going up there with Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, we'll see if it's the right move. I do like Joe Brady as an offensive coordinator. He was the passing game coordinator and receivers coach at LSU when Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase had their run as a national title game. So I think if Joe Brady's going to call some plays, they're going to light it up. But we'll see how they do because Josh Allen has a tendency to mess up everything.
And I think we're on it now, right? The best passer in the AFC East is Tua Tagovailoa, and there's no more discussion now, right? I mean, we're not going to get into that anymore, right? He's a better passer than Josh Allen, correct?
Yeah, definitely. Come on. I mean, it's pretty easy to see. The stats also don't lie as well. And, when you look at Tua's not ashamed to throw a check down pass, man. I mean, we kind of bashed him for it as much as we did early on in his career because he keeps the chains moving. But sometimes a 2-yard pass, 3-yard pass, man, sometimes it gets you to a manageable 3rd and 6 that you can actually convert, or even a 3rd and 3.
Brady and Joe Montana lived off that shit, dude.
Yeah.
I used to do it all the time. And what people don't understand is the discipline it takes to continue to take what they give you and to be accurate every single time and every single throw. The monotony behind it, it might bore you, but the idea is the person that can handle that monotony is the real pro that ends up on top. And it doesn't matter what your name is, bro. You could be Peyton Manning, you could be Tom Brady, you could be Tua Tagovailoa. Plenty of quarterbacks over the history of time have lived off of whatever you want to give them. And then they'll take every once in a while what they didn't expect was there.
Yeah, that's what Tua does the best. I mean, you got to beat the check down like a hammer, right? That's the phrase that football people like to use, right? When it's there and it's open, go give it to him. And then in this game last night with Josh Allen, I mean, there was a check down opportunity for James Cook in the middle of the field. He probably could have took up for maybe 10 yards or so. And still Josh Allen found the second option. I think it was Shakir down in the middle of the field. It was one play that worked for him in that instance. But that's the thing. The play that you extend when you go past your first progression and it's wide open, sometimes the second play is not there for you, right? And Josh Allen is just stuck playing hero ball and wanting big plays, chunk plays every time he touches the ball. And that's what's really hurt the Bills, man. You have a 1.5 game lead, not 2 games yet. If the Dolphins win beat the Raiders on Sunday, it'll be a 2-game lead in the AFC East. or depending on what Buffalo does on Sunday as well too. But this is a really big juncture for the Dolphins in the second half of the season, Big O. In my opinion, it's not just Buffalo too; it's the rest of the AFC too. You're lucky you don't have to play the Steelers, you don't have to play the Browns. You got a team in the Ravens you beat earlier this year. As much as we saw the Dolphins kind of take off and have this big record, right, 6-2, that became 6-3. We've seen some other teams kind of catch up into the mix too. 6-3 is not. How does 6-3 look to you, Big O, when I tell you that the Dolphins are 6-3 and the Steelers and the Browns and the Jaguars are 6-3? You kind of think about which teams has maximized what they have and their talent and all of that. I think the Dolphins have done that. I think it's only a matter of time before the Browns and the Steelers run out of offense, right? I think it's only a matter of time before the Jaguars do a little bit better as well too.
In the end, this is the way I would look at it. You're the Dolphins. You've been helped enough by others. It's time to help yourself.
Definitely.
So when the Bills come around, beat their ass.
Yeah.
And when Baltimore comes around, beat their ass. And obviously, yes, beat the Raiders and beat the teams you're supposed to beat. The Jets, you play them twice. You're supposed to beat them. They got a great defense, but their offense should not even score a freaking point on you. So beat their ass. And to me, that's what it's all about now. You've been helped. Dude, you couldn't have had a better bye week. Everybody lost and needed to lose for you.
Everybody did. The Jaguars lost. The Bills lost.
The team you can't beat, the team that owns your ass, the Bills, they keep losing and helping you keep control of this division.
Yeah,
so
it's great.
More than enough. Bill Belichick can't coach out of a paper sack, and he can't actually draft at all. You're being helped everywhere possible now. You have been set up. It's up to you now. Finish it. Start winning these games and go into the playoffs with momentum. Don't go back into the playoffs and like you did last year. You're in the driver's seat now. Dude, now let's go. To me, that's what I want to see from the Dolphins. It's not about watching others help you. Bro, help yourself from here on out.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at it right now, the Dolphins have a home playoff game. I mean, that's something that we haven't seen in a long time around here. A long time, more than 20 plus years, right? A home playoff game. And look at this schedule, man. I mean, you put it on paper and it all looks great. Raiders, Jets, Commanders, Titans, Jets. The Dolphins going on a little 5-game win streak here. I'm saying it like it's easier said than done, right? Man, you get up to 11 wins, 11-3 before you have the final 3 games of the year. That's crazy to think of. You could probably contend for the 1 seed, right? So it's not just about I know the Chiefs loss is going to hurt them a little bit, but it's not like you're kind of, like you said, finagling in and trying to look at who's the 6th seed, who's the 7th seed. No. This is a top 4 seed here. All right. This is everything that you wanted as a Dolphins franchise, as a fan, as a GM, as an owner, as a player. This is what you've been waiting for. This is what you've been building towards since all the rebuilds have happened and every variation of them that they've had in the past 20 years, man. This is the moment right now for the Miami Dolphins to make the playoffs, play more than 1 playoff game, hopefully play more than 2 playoff games. If you're looking at, something further down the line, great. It should be there if you have it and you work hard for it. But Dolphins still have to figure out how they do against tougher opponents than them, and they still have to write out the rest of their schedule and win the games that they're supposed to win.
Right. And that's, to me, that's what this is about now. You got to start, turning the corner now. We know you have a good team. In a way, that's where you've underachieved a little bit. Okay. Because you're 6-3 and there are games you lost, you could have won. So now let's see if this second half, now that you're fully healthy, you're getting to that point that, in the NFL, this is as close to fully healthy as a team can possibly get, because from week to week, you're losing so many people. You're probably going to get a Chan back, and then you're probably going to get Hunt back either in the next week or two. And dude, that's pretty beastly now at this point. You got your corners back. Everything is set. Your corners had an extra week of rest now. So X also with the groin injury, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Miami could not ask for a better situation than where they're at right now. They are as healthy as they've ever been, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing the best they've played in a long time. They've got the best quarterback since Dan Marino. They've got the best offensive mind they've had since, back to the Shula days.
Yeah.
So to me, and the best front office since the 1970s,
Mm-hmm.
brother.
Now's the time. Now's the time. Strike while it's hot, right? Look, what I said to you in the last time that we spoke about the Dolphins, I still want to see them crisp up their operation. When it gets loud, everything kind of breaks down for them. And when players get hurt and kind of have to move in and out the lineup during drives, things break down for them. So operational wise, I want to see them improve on that. I want to hear more crowd noise at the Dolphins practices. Want to hear Mike, calling plays into Tua relaying the plays to the players, and the players not messing up, man. You can't afford to have these false starts, little infractions that cause the offense to just stall out like they did against the Chiefs, right? Second half, they were moving the ball. You got 2 touchdowns, and that fourth quarter was just dreadful, man. They just kept going backwards as much as they went forward. And when you figure out that operation, you figure out kind of things like, Mike's decision making at the end of that game, the Chiefs game. Why'd you call a timeout before the final play? And then coming out of the timeout, why wasn't everybody set? Right? Like why after a timeout are you messing up when you probably could have had the play that you were looking for the first time around before the timeout? Why did you go away from running from Mostert on the last drive when he had 2 big killer runs? Was he tired? Now A-Chain is back, so you kind of have that player to kind of spell him if that was the case too. A-Chain coming back is huge. We saw how much he tore it up when he got here. To be close with Christian McCaffrey in the stats is incredible for the first half of the season that he was healthy. So we'll see what kind of, shape he's in coming back. But you have A-Chain back. You have a Teron Armstead back. Robert Hunt is the only question mark right now, which is just a hamstring, right? That's great. That's just so great that it's just a hamstring, and that's that, right? Ramsey's back. He's going to play another game, and he's figured his way out on defense. Ramsey is very timely in how he plays defense, and when you're playing that zone scheme a little bit, it allows you to pick and choose your spots. Plays on the other side of the field. Ramsey's walking. Plays on his side of the field. He's trying to confuse the quarterback. It works out for him, and it shuts down a whole side of a field. Now you got Jalen Phillips back as well, too. He's attacking, the quarterback and the offensive lineman, and it's allowing things to open up for Chubb, allowing things to open up for Sealer and Christian Wilkins and Van Ginkel as well. And you're getting enough from Baker and David Long and stopping the run as well and setting the edge. So everything's looking up, man. Everything is looking up, like we mentioned. They got to figure out their operational offense. They got to win these games that they've got coming up here. Don't lose sight of anybody you're playing, man. Just because the Jets have no offense, just because the Raiders have no offense, just because the Commanders don't have any defense or the Titans have a rookie, don't let any of these things kind of make you walk into a game with more confidence or a bigger head than you should have. Respect your opponents. Go ahead, in and out, do your job, and we'll see, man. Before the final 3 games of the season, the Dolphins should be in really great shape.
The Bills window has closed, right?
It's like a peephole in the door now. That's what it is to me. The window has it's not shut, but it's so much smaller. I thought the window was closing already once Dable left, and I think the window has very much closed on them, at least this season. Look, the Bills are
it's a peephole, so like this.
Yeah, definitely like that. Yeah, that's how it looks. Looks like a nice little Bitcoin like that right there.
There you go. It's a Bitcoin.
Is that, you got a real Bitcoin there? 30K just sitting in your hands?
That's it, baby.
Wow, a real Bitcoin. I've never seen one like that before. But yeah, look, the Bills have a lot of problems, man. They don't have a number 2 receiver. They don't have a really good, your backs. They leave a lot to be desired. Kincaid has been a nice revelation for them. But Josh Allen plays like he's Josh Hero. and that's not a recipe for success for Buffalo. And not even that, man. The Bengals are on the same track. They're 5-4. They had a bad loss against the Texans, but they're not as strong as they once were. I fear the Bengals more than I fear the Bills, but I think they still have some fear if they both make the playoffs. I just don't see if Buffalo's going to make it, though.
Yeah. I think we got to respect Houston a little bit more is what we have to do.
Oh, definitely, man. The kid Stroud is amazing.
Yeah, Stroud is the real deal, dude. And D'Amico Ryans is fighting for Coach of the Year with what he has done over there in Houston. And I'm happy for him because he's a former Texans player, and that's actually really cool for a guy to go back to the former team. And it looks like he's built for this, you know what I mean? So they found the coach and they found the quarterback. I wonder where have I heard that they found a coach and a quarterback?
Here, this happened here too. Miami, it's happened here too, Big O. Yeah, it's happened here too. Yeah, it's also Miami's fault. Houston was all the way behind in the 8 ball in that because they stole all the draft picks. All right, so
I knew what happened in Houston happened somewhere else. That I knew there was a feeling good about it. Miami was the one. Yeah, so it's actually pretty cool. So Cincinnati, I fear, but I got to tell you something. You better fear Houston now.
Yeah, definitely. Houston might actually make the playoffs.
Last year they put 500 yards on without Stroud. They put 500 yards on the Chiefs in a game that the Chiefs barely won. Mm-hmm. So it was something that was brewing already, and you can see that they're headed, in the right direction there in Houston, which is actually pretty damn cool. For Miami overall. You got to win this game, right? I mean, give me a break, bro.
Yeah, why? Why not? Why not? Why are you not winning this game? You have to. You better win this game.
You better.
I mean, they beat the Giants and the Jets, who have no offense whatsoever.
Right.
And you're supposed to be the team that has all the offense.
Right.
So it should be a blowout.
Yeah.
Should be a 30-point win.
It better be. Who's going to play for Robert Hunt?
That's a good question because it's not going to be Robert Jones. Yeah, it's not going to be Robert Jones. I'm sure they're going to have to shuffle some guys in. I was listening to McDaniel speak today, so I'm not sure if that's Cotton. I'm not sure if that's and Wynn is injured. They're going to figure it out, Big O, because this is the most depth that they have, right? Yeah. They were okay last week. It's been kind of a great revelation for the Dolphins O-line this year. That's the revelation, the Dolphins O-line this year. Armstead goes down, Wynn comes in, right? Hunt goes down, Jones comes in. When Cotton went down, Jones came in. You know what I mean? Austin Jackson has been incredible for you this year. Connor Williams has just come back. Eichenberg got some good experience. Eichenberg moved over. You know what I mean? I don't know if they put Eichenberg at right guard because he's kind of a left guard. But we'll see, man. I think the Dolphins will figure it out. They have 4 out of 5 starters on the line, so they'll be okay.
Cotton right, Eichenberg left.
I can see that, yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I can definitely see that, yeah. Eichenberg showed up really well in the Chiefs game, right?
Yes.
And after getting his feet wet in this game and not giving up on the kid and giving him a role to play as backup center and starting – I mean, just you're pouring into a kid where some of us as fans would be like, what are you doing? Get this guy out of the game. Don't play him anymore. It's the wrong thing to do, what we're saying. And the Dolphins are doing the right thing by, supporting these players and motivating them and, encouraging them. And it's incredible to see them have, some kind of tangible improvement that they can continue to work on week in and week out.
As I was told from inside the building, when are we going to get the benefit of the doubt with the offensive line? And
they're getting it. They're getting it now. And now's the time that this next half of the season is the time to get it.
They know how to develop. They know how to coach it up. They have a great fun. I was saying this earlier in the show. The Dolphins go enjoy yourselves because you're one of the few teams that can field a starting 5 and backups. That's unheard of in today's NFL.
It definitely wasn't happening here. That's for sure.
Right. And Dolphins should know because for decades they couldn't have an offensive line. I mean, their peak was, when Omar was screwing around with the unicorn thing, and that's 3 guys out of the 5. It wasn't 5 guys. It was 3 out of the 5.
Mm-hmm.
You've had 5 here at times this year. I mean, that's impressive, dude. Really is impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Look, and should the Dolphins get the benefit of the doubt on it? I mean, I want to see them win a little bit more and play a little bit more, sure. But the way that Mike's offense, it just allows them to kind of play offensive line in a way that they're not just kind of pushing back, getting pushed back and things like that. They're running it out into the field, they're getting to the second level, and those kind of things just throw off the defensive line when they have to, go up against it.
All right, what do you got going on at the USA today, sir?
Yeah, thank you. Just put out Ken Dorsey getting fired. Also had a column on the Patriots. I think they need to not fire Bill Belichick, what they're not going to do, and they need to keep starting Mac Jones.
That'll be at the end
Dolphins fans, and you can, man. The Patriots might get the number 1 pick. So I wrote that today or yesterday, excuse me. Pats might get the number 1 pick, Big O. So look out for them. Bill Belichick might have a last laugh on us. We'll see. But they've been so bad, they don't need a tank. Like, it's just happening for them. They're trying to win and they're tanking. So
they're not keeping Belichick. He's gone at the end of the year. They'll fire him.
Yeah, I can see that too, but they should just keep the ship together for a little bit. They might wind up with the number 1 pick and a whole new.
Oh, they were never, that story, I got nothing against Ben Volen. I've known Ben for many years. That's a silly ass story. They were never going to fire him in the middle of a season.
You don't do that to the coach like that.
Come on, dude. That's just stupid.
You don't do it to a coach like that. He still wants to coach, which is crazy too. He's 71. He's been there for 24 years. This is the worst season probably of his career there.
What the hell else is he? What the hell else is he going to do?
Yeah, he has nothing else to do. Like, I think that's why he comes back next year. Like, if they get a rookie, they can see him coming back. But him and Josh McDaniels can run it back. You never know.
He's a curmudgeon that has no other passion whatsoever, dude. So
You're right about that. You're right about that.
Follow him on Twitter at
the perfect word.
Yes, Safed_Dean, and catch his work there at the USA Today and his podcast, also getting it done. Safed, appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up later in the week.
Have a good one, Big O. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Baptist Health, baby. The staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is comprised of highly specialized, board-certified and fellowship-trained orthopedic physicians, supported by advanced practice providers and athletic trainers, all of whom play a vital role in the patient's experience. And folks, if you have an injury that is keeping you from doing what you love, take charge of your health and get back into the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with insider Safed Dean is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at baptisthealth.net.
All right, there he is. Yes, sir. Boca jaw surgery. Ronnie is the man. You got to love Ronnie. He does great work there. If you do need some jaw work, make sure you call my guy, Ronnie Katz. Big Dolphins fan, by the way. Huge Dolphins fan. Okay. And again, if you need any kind of cosmetic surgery, jaw surgery, nobody better than my guy, Ronnie Katz. Does excellent work there, man. Let's go over our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Alan Blanco kicking that serious ass. If your company, your club, your fantasy league, whatever it is, you need some custom printing and embroidery, you call Alan Blanco at 3A Graphics, 786-618-1443. Tonight, the Heat take on Charlotte on the road. Miami is favored by 3.5. The over and under is 224.5. The Panthers are on the road to take on Los Tiburones. It is at 10:30, taking on San Jose. Panthers are favored by 1.5. The over and under is 6.5. beats FIU last night, 86-80. They're 3-0. FIU's 0-3. They've got Georgia on Friday at 3:30. Thank the Lord it's not football. Broncos defeat the Bills 24-22. The Broncos improved to 4-5. The Bills dropped to 5-5. They just fired Ken Dorsey. Wow. Saturday at noon, taking on Louisville, and Louisville is favored by 1 point. The over and under is 46.5. And on Sunday, our pregame will start at 11 a.m. live from Walk-Ons in Kendall. Kickoff at 1 o'clock. Dolphins and the Raiders, and the Dolphins are favored by 12 points. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. So what if I tell you a former Miami Dolphin has been accused of being a racist? Would you believe it? What if I read the story for you and then you make up your minds? Plenty of people are on the chat board right now. Okay? And I'll give you my opinion if I believe this person is racist or not. But this is from Deadspin, and Karen J. Phillips reported this yesterday, or wrote this yesterday, not reported. In 2022, Ryan Tannehill wanted nothing to do with the new guy in town, Malik Willis. He's black. In 2023, Tannehill went out of his way to make sure people know that he supports the newer guy in town, Will Levis. He's white. The stuff writes itself, he says. I don't think it's my job to mentor Willis, Tannehill said last year, but if he learns from me along the way, that's a great thing. At the time, Tannehill was 33, and the 22-year-old Willis had been taken by the Titans in the third round with the 86th overall pick in the draft. As you can see, Tannehill didn't like it, and it was like the plot of the 1999 cult classic, Any Given Sunday, happening in real time. Kids breathing down my neck, says Cap Rooney, played by Dennis Quaid, and he's the old white quarterback who's about to get replaced by the young athletic black one, Willie Beeman, played by Jamie Foxx. He's been really good throughout the whole process with keeping the relationship professional while at the same time helping me out how he can, the 35-year-old Tannehill said about Levis last week. Right? So Levis is calling him a leader, because he's been helping him out, right? And then Tannehill says, I want to handle the situation with class, right? It's not a fun situation to be in, but I want to be a pro and handle it with class and still be the guy he can look to. So not an ideal situation, but, I want to try to handle it well. The veteran is taking it hard, which is odd, given that he once played wide receiver in college and knows what it's like to take a quarterback's job. But what's clear now is he's handled things with Levis better than how he did with Willis, and his language is proof of that. But beyond who Tannehill has publicly supported and why, the situation looks even worse after Levis' performance against the Titans, right? Yada, 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 all that. This isn't to say Willis hasn't looked like the future of the franchise either. He's played in 11 career games, gone 35 for 66, 350, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His lone score has come on the ground, but he's also had 4 career fumbles. In Levis's 3 career games, he's gone 60 for 107, 699, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It's easy to see what's happening here and what the writing on the wall is for Tannehill, as Levis is setting himself up to be the long-term answer at quarterback for the Titans. But in the end, we've watched the front office in Nashville draft young quarterbacks, back-to-back drafts. One is clearly doing better than the others, but in a season which I previously wrote about how the league's current state of black quarterbacks is built around a house of cards, despite 14 of them starting in week 1, what's happening in Tennessee is the latest example of what I was trying to get to people to understand. Ryan Tannehill knew what he was doing when he threw support behind Will Levis and not Malik Willis. And while Levis may be the better option, what does it say when black quarterbacks can't get even supported in their own QB rooms? It says a veteran like Tannehill is holding up progress in more ways than one. Let me tell you something. I have never been a believer of Ryan Tannehill. Ever. from day one that they drafted him, I told Dolphin fans it was a mistake. It was a reach. He's a project. You draft a guy like that in the second round, not in the first. And I told you the story about that already, too, that nobody knows about, but I told you guys already. So you got it a couple days, last week it was, week before, whatever. You got a little skinny on the Ryan Tannehill story with Jeff Ireland. I'd like to tell Karen Phillips that Ryan Tannehill, I don't believe is racist. Not one bit at all. What happened, and this is where Karen Phillips maybe has this, I get that minority quarterbacks have gotten the short end of the stick in the NFL. Dude, I understand all of that. I'm not going to argue about that. Racism, bias, it exists. I know all of that. But Ryan Tannehill was a starter, and for a long time. And maybe in his mind, he thinks he's still a good starter, which he never was, but whatever. He got pissed last year. They drafted a quarterback for the first time to replace him, and he knows it. And so he reacted the same way Brett Favre reacted to Aaron Rodgers. The same way a lot of quarterbacks have reacted to the young guy that gets drafted. The Will Levis thing, where Karen Phillips has it wrong about Ryan Tannehill. Look, man, I can tell you Ryan Tannehill was never going to be a franchise quarterback. I've never questioned the person, the work ethic, the human being. He's a good person, dude. He's a great person. He's a damn good individual, okay? Nothing wrong with Ryan Tannehill, the human being. But for the second year in a row, we all saw that Willis just didn't look good when he played. He looked like he was greener than green. Like, whoa, you picked that in the first round? Has nothing to do with black or white or nothing, bro. It has, when you're John Beck, you're John Beck. When you're Pat White, you're Pat White. The hell are you going to do? When you're Jim Druckenmiller, you're Jim Druckenmiller. I'm interviewing this guy, and I'm going like, Jimmy brought this guy in? This guy's dumb as bricks. Has nothing to do with white or black. And then Ryan Tannehill gets a second quarterback drafted to replace him. So at that point, the human being is now beaten down. He now knows for sure they don't want him. So he knows he now is on his way out. The first go around, you can fight it. You can live in denial. Oh, okay, I'll teach them. I'll teach Vrabel, the front office, the fans, the media, that I'm better than this kid Willis. Screw this kid Willis. Nothing to do with black or white. But he doesn't go out and have the kind of season that says, screw Willis and screw all you guys. He had the kind of season that encouraged them to draft another quarterback. And at that point, brother, it's staring you in the face. You got to be a stupid mofo. And so if Ryan Tannehill, you want to have a future in this league and you want to go to the next organization and steal money as a backup at least, you got to now start acting like a professional. So you acted like a jerk last year, not because he's black. Karan Phillips. Please, dude. Come on. You know, you obviously don't know Ryan. You haven't been around him. Okay? He reacted like a guy that is afraid of losing his job. Like any of us would be. If we saw somebody younger or different getting hired for the same kind of position. It's the way it goes. This has, in my eyes, zero to do with racism. Malik Willis looked terrible. And this kid, Levis, has actually looked all right. Am I saying he's the guy? No. But he's actually looked all right. And I already know what I already knew what Ryan Tannehill was from day one. I don't need to see him anymore. But to call him racist, Ryan Tannehill might be mechanical. He might be a scatterbrain when things go awry on a football field. He may never be a franchise quarterback. He may never be consistently accurate, but he is a good man. He is a decent human being, and he is not racist. We can talk about a lot of things with Ryan that have to do with football. But when it comes to being a human being, I think this Karan Phillips person has got it absolutely wrong with Ryan Tannehill. And to sully his name and put racist next to it, that's some risky and some irresponsible shit. If you're going to call somebody racist, man, you better have an exceptional example of it and not a quarterback losing his job. That's some weak-ass sauce by this Karan Phillips dude. That's my 2 cents. I may not have Tanny's back as a player, but I'll have his back as a person. I've always had his back as a person. Always. I've never said a bad thing about Ryan Tannehill, the person, ever. Anybody that's listened to me knows it. I've never believed in him as a quarterback. That I can tell you from day one. I never thought he was going to be a franchise guy. And I was 100% right on that. But I've never picked on the human being. And any of us that have been around Ryan Tannehill, we all know he's not a bad dude, bro. That's, to call him racist, I find that to be very irresponsible. That's just me. So, let's see. Andy says Tannehill can't be a championship QB in the NFL. When he was a Dolphin, he didn't manage the play clock and didn't know what down it was at half the time. Yeah, no, he's quarterback-wise. We can have lots of discussions on why he isn't the guy, but he's not a bad person. He's not that dude. If Willis was any good, they wouldn't have drafted Levis. Exactly, Eric. Dude, we all saw it. It has nothing to do with black or white. What do we give a shit if Cleo Lemon, Pat White, John Beck, Ray Lucas, Jay Cutler, whatever, dude. We could just keep naming quarterbacks. Do we really give a shit if they're white or black? They all sucked. They all sucked. We don't give a shit. Sports fans in general, most of us, sure, we've got racists in the world, but most of us, dude, we don't care if the guy's tall or short or fat or Asian or Jamaican or Argentine or Cuban or whatever, bro. Or if he's from Nebraska or Coral Gables or New York or Wisconsin. Can you play? Can you win us games? Great, dude. We don't care if you have 3 eyes. It must help you. We don't give a shit if you have 6 fingers in one hand. Maybe it helps you. We don't care if you have 4 fingers in one hand. Maybe you're that good. I don't care. Can you play the position? Can you win? I don't care what you look like. Most fans just want to win. They're not asking for a specific nationality or color or religion or height or anything like. They just want a winner. They don't care what the guy looks like at all. But when we see a guy that can't play, we're not saying, oh, the black guy can't play. No, we're just saying you can't play. That's just the way it goes. And in the Malik Willis thing, it had nothing to do with race. My God, he was terrible. He's John Beck. Terrible. The second you see John Beck, you're like, oh my God, Josh Heupel. I've told the story of Josh Heupel many times. We're sitting there and we're going, my God, they spent a 6th-rounder on this guy? And then they had so many injuries that day. Rick Spielman, who was still young at that time, came out and practiced with the team. The general manager, who was still in his, I want to say, late 30s at that time, young general manager. But Rick kept himself in shape, you know. He wasn't the athlete his brother was. Chris Spielman was a beast. Obviously, one hell of a linebacker for the Lions for many years. But, and I think even Chris Spielman might have been in the Heisman race. I think. Not sure. But anyway, as I digress. But the bottom line is, you know, it's, you know, you look at that whole situation, man, it's just either you can play or you can't play. And that's what it was all about. Can you play or you can't play? And to call Ryan Tannehill a racist, I just find that to be completely out of place. Bottom line. So Josh Heupel comes out to practice, and Rick Spielman stands next to him and starts throwing the ball. The general manager had a better arm than Josh Heupel. We're going, wow, this guy drafted a guy that has a worse arm than the general manager. It's not about white or black, bro. Can you play or you can't play? Josh Heupel couldn't play. We knew it right away. Nothing to do with that. So it's just irresponsible to call Ryan Tannehill a racist. He was just a frustrated man that is about to lose his job. But once you drafted Will Levis, the message was sent again. Yeah, no, we missed on this one, but we're going to replace you with this one. At that point, it's like, you know, all right, let me be the professional now, because if I'm a dick to this guy also, then it's really going to look bad. But this guy, Caron Phillips, doesn't have that common sense to kind of look at it, because he's so desperate to point out the obvious that we know that, you know, minorities have been given the short stick there all the time. We know that. But this is not the case, bro. This is not one you stand on, Caron Phillips. That's not one that defends your point, actually. Anyway. Let's see. Come on, O. Jay Cutler did not suck. He royally sucked. We drafted Eric Kumaro instead of Chris Spielman. Pulling out the race card was a weak move by the reporter. Yeah, he's just, remember what we talk about all the time here, right? Okay. Like, I'm a media member, but since I don't work for an entity, I don't care about clicks and views. That let me find the most edgy thing to say so I can get it out there. Let me hate on the team just because hate is going to get a lot more than love. You know, I don't do that here. I'm not in a hurry to create any buzz. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not going to try to break a story when there's no story to break. None of that, dude. I'm not going to create controversy when there's no controversy to create. I don't need to do any of that shit. But unfortunately, most of our media does. And that's the kind of shit that has to happen for them in order to do it. Happens all the time. What can I tell you? You know? Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin donation like my man Brooklyn Rob. Thank you, Brooklyn Rob. Appreciate you, my brother. I know Brooklyn Rob told me he hit a nice parlay yesterday on the app. Thank you, my man. That's very, very nice of you Appreciate that. You know I love my Bitcoin donation, so nothing sweeter than a Bitcoin donation. Very nice of you, Brooklyn Rob. Very nice. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. He says, keep up the great work, my brother. Appreciate you, Robert. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very nice. Love it, man. Little Bitcoin donation. Nothing better than that. Huge. That is huge. All right. Yes, please. Dorsey to the U. How do you know Dorsey's a good coach? Sure about that? I hope you guys are sure about that. I'm not sure about that. Ken Dorsey was finally taking the wheels off and given the bike so he can, ride it without the training wheels. And he drove it off the street and got fired. I'm not exactly sure he's been carried in the past by others. He was working under other people. Now he's on his own and he got fired. Why would you say that he deserves to get the job? Aren't we doing the same shit we've done with Manny Diaz? And now we did it also with Mark Richt. We did it with Manny Diaz. We've done it with Mario Cristobal. And now you're doing it again with Ken Dorsey? The whole Miami thing? That's a dangerous game, my friends. Let's go with birthdays today in entertainment and music and all kinds of other genres. King Charles III is 75 today. Travis Barker, the drummer, is 48. Little Boozy is 41. Yanni, the composer, is 69. Nathan Cleary, rugby player. I have no idea, but we'll go with it 26 because I'm sure some of our friends that are listening in other parts of the world will know who he is. Let's see. Mason Gooding, TV actor, is 27. Sean Cavalier, pop singer, is 24. He was previously a member of the boy band New District, and then he joined the web hit series Chicken Girls. I have no idea who this guy is, but I mentioned it for the hell of it. Josh Duhamel, I do know. The actor is 51. Sophia Copo, the model, is 27. Isn't she going on with she was with Edelman or still is with Edelman or is with Barrios or was with Barrios or something? I don't know. Devonta Smith, the football player, is 25. Spence Sharness, metal singer for Ice Nine Kills. He is 38. Not really an Ice Nine Kills guy, but I know who they are. Francisco Lindor, baseball player, is 30. Patrick Warburton is 59, the actor, comedian. And Chloe Lang, TV actress, is 22. Those are the folks celebrating birthdays today. Now let's go to music history. Today, on November 14th in 1967, Pink Floyd began their first UK tour at London's Royal Albert Hall, opening up for Jimi Hendrix. In 1970, Santana's version of the Fleetwood Mac song Black Magic Woman was released. Isn't it funny that Santana made the version of Black Magic Woman better than Fleetwood Mac's version of Black Magic Woman? And Judas Priest, all right, what's it called? Green Monalishi. They did a better job with Green Monalishi than Fleetwood Mac did. Pretty interesting. Anyway, in 2000, that's actually from Judas Priest. My favorite song of theirs is Green Monalishi. And that's a remake. Not one of their originals, but a remake of a Fleetwood Mac song. And again, they did a 1,000 times better job, just like Santana's Black Magic Woman was 1,000 times better than the version from Fleetwood Mac. Ah, yes. All right. In 2000, on this date, Marilyn Manson released his fourth album, Hollywood, in the shadow of the Valley of Death, because the cover depicted the shock rocker on a crucifix. Some retail chains banned it. In 1990, the new issue of Newsweek hit the shelves, featuring an interview with The Who's Pete Townsend, where he said he's bisexual. Pete stated, "I know how it feels to be a woman because I am a woman, and I won't be classified as just a man." In 2000, The Offspring gave away $1 million of their own money to a lucky fan who entered online and then won a trivia contest. In 2004, Bono, Brian May, and Roger Taylor of Queen, along with Phil Collins, Paul McCartney, Snow Patrol, plus members of Keane, Travis, and The Darkness and others, took part in the recording of a new version of Do They Know It's Christmas Time? Yada, yada. Feed the world, baby. Okay? Let them know it's Christmas time. There you go. How about that? That is what happened today in music history. I tried warning Bills fans here in Rochester, New York, but they didn't believe me. Now they're all jumping off cliffs pretending to be shocked that their team is ass. Their team is ass? I love it. Devin Jordan, Big O, hear me out. What if the Dolphins bring in Lael Collins? I have trust issues with our backup guards, Lester Cotton and Liam. They're not bringing in Lael Collins. Okay? So, just to tell you. I know others may have written stuff like that. They're not bringing in Lael Collins. So you can forget about that. Eric Bettenbaugh, thank you for the love on the super chat. How is it possible Sheryl Crow is in the Rock Hall of Fame and Jethro Tull isn't? I mean, they just put Kate Bush in because Stranger Things got her one song, her one big hit out there. Stranger Things got Kate Bush into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Scorpions aren't in it. Iron Maiden isn't in it. I mean, it's just, there's so many bands that are missing that are way better than Sheryl Crow. Is actually, I don't have a problem with Sheryl Crow. I have more of a problem with T-Rex. I have more of a problem with Kate Bush. Sheryl Crow has several hits. Okay? I give Sheryl Crow mad props. She's super gifted. Okay? Now, are there other people that I would put in before Sheryl Crow? Yes. But I'm not disgusted with Sheryl Crow getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm disgusted with Kate Bush and T-Rex getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Those folks don't deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's the way I look at it. When we're putting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we are putting the elite of the elite. Nothing about T-Rex or Kate Bush says elite. You know, so there are others that I have a problem with. And it's not Sheryl Crow. So that's where you and I, Eric, will, you know. Joan Jett is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she deserves to be in there. I have no problem. Now, does Joan Jett deserve to be in there before Iron Maiden and the Scorpions? No. But what can I tell you? Yeah. So. I'm not sure, dude. Look it up if Celine Dion is in the Hall of Fame or not. I have no idea. But I'm sure if she's not, she'll be in there at one point or another. Yeah, I'm not a Celine Dion fan. I'm not a fan of her music, but, you know, I mean, there's no doubt her talent is supreme. Poor woman is dealing with a medical condition now that has ruined her voice, dude. And that is so crushing for somebody not to be able to do what they love, you know? I think Sheryl Crow is way better than Kate Bush. Way better, dude. Way better. I remember some fans wanting us to hire Ken Dorsey as OC for the Dolphins. Exactly. I assume Big O will buy the Eagles' Xmas record. No, I will not. When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT Sports Business Report. Right. The NFL's ace, baby. Joe Burrow has joined the ownership group of the Pro Volleyball Federation team of the Columbus Fury. That's right. He's also joined by his parents, Jimmy and Robin, as co-owners. They previously became equity partners of the league after it launched in 22. The trio joins a three-time beach volleyball Olympic gold medalist, Kerry Walsh Jennings, and music star Jason Derulo as co-owners of the Pro Volleyball Federation franchises. The Pro Volleyball Federation is an elite North American-based women's professional volleyball league that is due to begin play in February of 24. The Columbus Fury are one of 7 franchises set to compete next year, with at least 2 more teams joining in 25. I've been watching the growth of Pro Volleyball Federation since my parents and I joined the league, and it's been very impressive to see. It seems like every day more great news is announced about the league, whether it's great players who continue to sign with the league, the outstanding coaches who are involved, or the new ownership groups and markets that are added. I'm very proud to be a part of it, and I'm now excited to say that my family is involved in the Columbus Fury ownership group. Additional members of the Columbus Fury ownership groups will be announced soon. So there you go. Joe Burrow, owner of a pro volleyball team. Pro drone leagues. What's it called? Oh, damn it. What's up? Pickleball, volleyball. Let me tell you, it's pretty impressive how soccer now has grown. You know, there are different kinds of sports that are actually growing and becoming more part of, you know, our society and what we watch and all of that. It's pretty impressive. I would have never thought of this, you know. I only looked at this like, you know, back in the days of St. John Smythe, right? And Karch Karai, and, you know, you would watch it on weekends. You'll run into some volleyball, you know, game or something on the beach somewhere, and then you'll watch it in the Olympics. But you never really looked at it like a league that they're really putting together. Crazy shit, dude. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
I love it. The Drew with a line from the Hollywood Nights. Those Hollywood nights, me and my baby, those Hollywood nights. He says, a friend with weed is a friend indeed. Ah, yes. That's the opening scene from what's it called? From Hollywood Nights. When the old lady's sitting on the bus bench and then they pull up in the El Camino and the arm's out and then New Bomb Turk comes out, hides the arm, and then you're hearing the radio in the background and then, hey, don't forget, fellas, a friend with weed is a friend indeed. Boom. And it goes in there. I got you, the Drew. I got that reference. We need more content for ESPN The Ocho. I don't understand that singers that sing different music than rock and roll go to the Hall of Fame over a group like the Scorpions. Edward Thurston Howell? Can't answer it, my brother. But you are right. Eric says it's good that Burrow will have something to keep himself busy while playoffs are going. Big O, tonight is a tournament game for the Heat. Excited? Yeah, I'll be excited. I'll be at the Phoenix concert tonight at the Revolution Live. I'll be taking off in a little while to get in line and so I can get a good spot. So I'll be at the Revolution Live in a couple of hours. See you there. Okay? How about that? Okay. If you come by and say hi to me in line while I'm in Fort Lauderdale at the Revolution Live over at the America's Backyard, if you fish me out and say, oh, I listened to the show, I'm going to take a couple of extra shirts and I'm going to give you a t-shirt. So just in case if you live or work in that Fort Lauderdale area, in a few hours, like around 4 o'clock or something, 5, I should be out there already at Revolution Live. If you see me and you say, oh, I listened to the show, I want a shirt, I'll give it to you. Okay? I'm going to take a few shirts just in case. Just for the hell of it. Just to have some fun. See how the combination of you guys listening and responding to it all. So, yeah, I don't care about the tournament at all. So I didn't know that tonight was a tournament game, actually. Had no idea. You know what I do? I was looking for, because I took a night off last night. I was looking forward to, sitting there and live betting on the app, but I won't be able to do it because I'll be at a concert. Yes, Sean.
Now, I was going to say all Tuesday and Friday games up until the cutoff are tournament games. That's how they did it.
Okay. Did not know that. So what did Missy put out there? Thank you to everyone so much for the love. I was trying to record this at the after party, and people kept walking in talking about where the drinks, and I was tired to shoot it again, so I kept the take. Thank you all again from my heart. I'm humbled and grateful. I think, is this from when she got inducted into the Writers Hall? She's so likable, Missy Elliott. She's like been one of the more likable, what's it called, artists out there. Let's see what else. Phoenix is fun. Yeah, Phoenix. I love Phoenix, man. They're a terrific band. My best friend, Bill Preston, rest in peace. I love you, brother. Miss you every single day, like crazy, man. He's the guy that turned me on to Phoenix. So I will be going to the concert today and enjoying it with my wife. And I will be thinking of my best friend a lot because he's the reason why I'm a Phoenix fan. So, yeah, big time. Big O, any word on Isaiah Wynn? Nikolai, put it this way, my brother. If he returns, it's a miracle. That's all. Just look at it that way. So don't count on him to return. But if it happens, as New Bomb Turk would say, my boy. Just to keep the whole Hollywood Nights thing going. You just celebrate. That's all. Let's see. Thanks, Sean. I'm marking my calendar because those Tuesday and Friday games are very important. I still don't understand the in-season tournament. What's it? Wow, dude, who gives a shit? They're playing for some cash. The shitty teams that aren't going anywhere are the only ones that are going to care about this. They're out of the playoffs anyways, so if they can make it into this tournament, and play at the end and make a little extra money, that's how they will win in the season. But playoff teams aren't going to give a shit about this tournament. They just don't care, dude. Got my Dolphins Super Bowl bet on the Hard Rock app. Hopefully it stays legal by then. Yeah, I think we're safe now. I think we're safe. All right, we thank Cameron Wolfe, Anthony Chang, and Safedine. We thank, of course, the legend that is Sean Stanley. We thank all of you out there, as always, for keeping it locked here, for supporting us, hitting the like button, sending us a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. We appreciate it as always. Brooklyn Rob, thank you for the donation, the Bitcoin donation, very special. Thank you all out there. If you send a super chat in, also appreciate you all. We will see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Same time, same place, same bat channel.